Listen, listen, listen. The rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. And welcome to my Night Ramblings, where I will ramble on for approximately 3 hours. I have to go to work tomorrow. I went to work today. I went to work on Friday. That was the only day that I worked last week. And if you guys know anything about me, I don't miss work. For me, I have probably called in sick for myself 5 times in 25 years, and I called in 4 times last week. Um, let's just say I wasn't going to be able to sit here and do this, and we'll get into that in a short bit. But anyway, I hope everyone was had a great weekend. Hope everyone had a great week. Uh, I know many of you enjoyed this on Monday and you look forward to it. And I was all ready to go. Well, I had gotten ready as a thumbnail was already done for last Monday, but sometimes an ailment kicks in, and well, you're just not able to proceed and go through with it. I said it before, I probably have been more consistent than any other toy tuber, or at least as consistent as any other toy tuber in the past 3+ years doing this. So I'm not a big fan of missing any type of time, but let's just say it was a very rough um, it was a rough 4 or 5 days for me. If you tuned in on Tuesday, I jumped on the Circle of Jerks right at the end. um, I had a burst where I felt fine, and then by the time we finished and we chatted for a short bit, I was ready to turn off YouTube and not pay attention to anything, which is pretty much what I did. So anyway, um, but other than that, I'm doing great. Like I said, I don't miss much time, especially not unexpected time. So for my guest of last week, Rad Toys Galaxy, I was able to reach out to him and I said, "Hey, can we do it the first week of February?" And he said, "Hey, no problem." I feel really bad. I've never really had to cancel on anyone, so I feel extremely bad. He said, "Actually, it's a good thing because maybe I shouldn't tell you." As it was a private chat, he did say that, yeah, I smashed my nose, and he goes, I think I feel better." Anyway, so I'm like, perfect, and I already have a guest lined up for this week, and if you've looked, it is Ben Conway of Skeletron, so he will be joining us this Thursday. He has no idea what he's in for. He goes, "I saw your last one in like 3 hours." I'm like, "Yeah, if you've watched it, you'll know it's not all about toys." And he's like, "I don't have really time to watch." I'm like, "I understand. Just know you're in for a, a long conversation, and that guy can talk probably as much as me, if not more. So if we go 5 hours, we won't go 5 hours because I'm not going to 2 a.m. So anyway, that's a little update on me. I'm feeling much better. I dropped down like 5, 6 pounds, which is good. I was actually fasting right before then. As for Roman, people have been asking about Roman. He's doing much better, it seems. I think I mentioned that we've opted not to do the surgery right now. His leg seems to be healing a little bit better. He's still limping on it, but he's still on the medication, still sleeping downstairs with him. Um, I think he's starting to get used to it. But I feel bad. I don't want him to feel like he's been a bad boy or something. He looks at me, and today it's just me and my son. So hopefully he'll go down and check on him a little bit. I'll have Olivia here on Thursday just because I'm like, hey, I need somebody here because I can kind of walk away or play a 3-minute video here and go downstairs for a second. I can't do that when I have a guest. So, but he seems to be doing better. Hopefully that continues. No one really wants to see your dog get sick. Anyway, this weekend, if you haven't noticed, I spent some time out in the cold taking pictures. Wow. I felt like I was really missing out. We have all this snow, and since Roman's leg hurts, he's not trekking through all the snow in the back. So I was able to go out there and pretty much have a nice flat surface. Unfortunately, it's all powder, so I had to like push it down. But I've gotten stuff with Wolverine and the polar bears. I got more pictures that I'm just going to be dropping as I go along. So it was cold. It was go out there, take some pictures. I had them all kind of pretty much set up. Then I had to decide where I want to put them, take the few pictures, maybe a video, come back in, get the old or get the new figures. Goes back and forth. By the end, I like your hands hurt so bad. I was happy to be inside, but that was all Sunday, and then Saturday I recorded some more, and I did my latest rating video that will come out on the 1st of February. But if you're a channel member, you can go watch it now. You can see what I rate, especially with the classified. I think people are really going to enjoy this one. I can see more people have watched that one than watch any of the classic reviews that I do. So anyway, let's quickly get started. There's 62 people here right now. Please, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Make sure you go over there and vote. And let's say hi to the chat really quick. It's not going to be quick because you know how I do this. Anyway, we did get a new channel member, Jersey Ed. Thank you very much. And you know what you get? You're going to get a
welcome to the creamery.
And then we have Same Time Toys here. Man, who's Krusty O'Crow jumping in here. We have just Jeff. We have Michael Gene Fleming. Did I say Menhuza already? I'll say it again. We have the Odorous right there. Snow Wolf. Hey, you nailed, like your name nails all those all the pictures that I was taking, especially with the wolves. And someone asked me where are the dire wolves? It didn't fit into the story of Wolverine. It says, good evening, everyone. Hopefully those on the East Coast are digging out. I was lucky. I only got we got like 6 to 8 inches. I know that's what I've always told all the girls that I date, and they're just like 3. I'm like, whatever, dude. It works. Graph is jumping in. We have a Let It Roll here. HK Viper, GI Bro, who has the best guns in the community. We have Nolan, which makes us Toy Tube official. David R. We have Beardy McBeardison. We have Cal Ester or Cal Shave. I wish we didn't have this all the time. We have Mamu Nestor or Matthew, my moderator, saying Chris Cox sued over Magic cards. I haven't looked very much into it. I have seen all the stuff. Hopefully this is a way to get him out. I'm not saying I could run Hasbro better, but I don't believe. But I believe that there are people that can run a toy company better than this guy is doing it. U.S. Combat Dojo has joined us. We have Woody 222, and you know what, Woody, just for the hell of it, you're gonna get a. Because I know you love the wet fart. We have Action Figs, my other moderator, saying, look at this guy, takes a week off and still can't start on time. That's true. Pop Wonder is jumping in here. We have MTC Tommy Rat here. We have Russell Lemieux. We have Payne's Toy Samples, who we don't see very often. At least I don't see him very often anymore. It's great to see you around, Payne. We have a Joe Fan 84. We have Brick something saying, what's good, everyone? Check him out on Sunday. He's been doing a lot. He had Mega J on. If he had Mega J on, you could probably assume they were probably talking Motu. And I'll say it again, She-Ra killed Motu. It's all those girl toys always killing the boy toys. I'm just saying what the Netflix documentary said. Troy Believer jumping in here say, glad to have you back, Punk. Hope you're feeling better. I am feeling much, much better. I'd say I feel 100%, but I tell people, if I ever feel 100% again in my entire life, I'm dead. I think most of us at this age feel that way, right? All right. Just trying to pull something up quickly here. All right. Let's see, who else do we have? I know there's more people here. We have Clint Jorgensen jumping. Just talking Motu trailer tonight. I will not be talking Motu trailer. I feel enough people have talked about it. I will say this. I was happy with it. Pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what I was thinking. I didn't know what to feel going into it because I knew they were going to be on Earth. and I feel like they're kind of playing it backwards. Because if I remember correctly, in the filmation, Marlene, right, whatever her name is, she came from Earth. So to send him back to Earth to protect him, I think it's going to work better than what the Dolph Lundgren movie did. But hey, we'll find out soon enough, right? We have Allison Troy jumping in here saying, as they say, a short in time saves 9, so take the day off. All right. I don't know how to take that. Todd C saying Punk Gun Mode 2. All right, it's been fun, boys. I'm out. I would not say I've gone Mode 2. I tried doing Mode 2. It didn't work. We have Dead Man 1. Am I doing that right? Saying what's up, Punk? Who I've also asked. He will be a guest, I believe. I think we're gonna do in February, Thursday with the friend. I got to get all those people together. I've been lazy with getting that, but I pretty much have February all set up. February and into March. So we have Matt O'Brien jumping in the house. Great to see you here, man. Saying happy Monday, Punk and crew. And here I just saw Checkpoint Alpha jumping in here saying, what's up, my dude? Hope all is well. Same to you. We have Stephen K. Joe ARH 42. Did you add that or not? Then Deadman saying Rad Toys Galaxy. I do a show with that guy. I've noticed that keeps popping up. I mean we hung out here. I met him at Joe Fest. He was cruising through Michigan on the way back to the Canada A. And sure enough, we hung out, and he was supposed to call me when he came back, and he never did. I just didn't have to make an excuse why not to hang out. Tim Brower also jumping in here. We got Crash. We have Plastic Stalls. We have David T. Allen saying, hi, Punk. I hope you feel better tonight. I do. Crash with a member for 29 months. So you get the
fucking Phil Collins.
Poor Phil Collins. I don't feel bad for Phil Collins. Steve Chom or Ted Knight. All right. And then I think we are close to the end here. Maybe we're not. Again, I like to say hi to as many people as possible. Checkpoint Alpha saying 12.5 inches of snow here. It says we've got like 3 inches, but I can look at it. I'm not even joking. When I look at my patio table, there's like 8 or 9 inches. And I know there's some wind blowing, but I'm like, I know we have more than that. Alex Martinez. And then we have Cooter's Garage. Let's see here. Troy Bleeford saying, winter and snow was always one of my favorite time for Joe's as a kid. Snow can go F itself now. I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't like. I feel no need to snowboard. If I had the skate park that we do now, I would have never snowboarded. I would have tried it, but to me, it was like snowboarding was something I did when I couldn't skateboard. Devil Dog 1989 said hello. Viper Scout Ultra Match. All right, we're gonna try and get through everyone a little bit quicker here. What is this? Commander Wolf saying, what's up, Punk? I swear there's a couple names I have not seen. So quickly, if I can find it.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
And then Woody 222 with the $9.99 super chat. So quickly, if I can find that one.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Saying payback for that fart. Thank you. That was actually pretty funny. Dan Olton is in the house. Smog 17 1N Toys. And I think we've come to the end of everyone saying hi to. So anyway, thank you all. 62 people. Please hit that like button if you haven't. Go ahead and vote in that little poll. It actually keeps a better track. And I kind of mentioned this before. that poll, which seems to be gone. Man, I had a poll up here, and now it's gone. Or is it? Is that poll gone or what? Oh, here we go. I guess I had to scroll up just a little bit. It's odd because there's 55 votes in that right now, and I've said this before. There's 55 votes, but 30 likes. It actually keeps a better track of liking. So anyway, the one person I do want to say thank you to is the last time I did a Thursday with a friend was Casey from Podcast From the Pit. While talking to him, he mentioned that I believe before Joe Fest, their goal is to hit 500 subs. He is sitting at 420. I know some of you are going to flip out right now. Woody's like, I'd stop taking subscribers. But anyway, if you're not subscribed to Podcast From the Pit, please head on over there, subscribe. Don't leave this channel. Come on right back, but just head on over there, hit that like and subscribe. Get them to 500. There's no reason why they shouldn't be there. So 3-star draw jumping in and say he's back from the brink of death. What's up, Punk, mods, and chat? There were a couple times I felt like I was on the brink of death. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so like I said, as for this weekend, I went down. I was actually planning on recording all weekend. I have a list of everything, pretty much everything that I have for the classic reviews. I'm trying to get through series 5, and then that will probably settle me to Joe Fest. Joe Fest, I won't make it till Joe Fest, I guess. But I'm gonna hold off probably doing some more stuff because I don't have a lot of vehicles after that. But I'm saying that now. I just know at Joe Fest there's some things that I'm picking up from Woody that's going to be in the next series. So I think I might hold off on that, but I'm trying to get as much done while it's really crappy out. And obviously, I'm not going out to skateboard. I'm not going out to, a park or just enjoy the weather because it's so shitty right now. So I plan on recording all weekend. And, Sunday, I started looking. And again, if you're following me on Instagram, please, thank you. I don't know why I said please, thank you. If you're following me on Instagram, thank you. You see a lot of snow pictures, and I have more to come. Even though I don't have great photography, it takes quite some time to set it up, even more in the cold and the snow. You're all wet. I mean, the bottom of my jeans were just completely drenched. But it takes a lot of time. So I sat there going through all that stuff, and I didn't get around to recording anything because by the time I was done, I'm like, dude, I'm done. Like, I don't want to record anything. I'm supposed to get some stuff this week, and then we'll go from there. And whoa, what the oh, you know what? You know what happened?
Acknowledge me.
Ken from Toy Connection saying, you don't snowboard in the snow. That'd make a great video, just saying. You can't skateboard in the snow. Actually, there are snow skateboards, believe it or not, where it is a little bit bigger than a skateboard. It has some sort of, not technically grip tape, it's some sort of rubber grip tape on it. And they do handrails, they do all kinds of tricks. Not for me. Although probably way easier on the body, but you can skateboard. They do have a snow skateboard. Look it up. They have videos and everything on it. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, everyone say hi to Ken. You know what happens if you don't say hi to Ken? All hell breaks loose. People lose their minds. They rage quit. They run over to other Instagram or other YouTubers and then they bitch about me and say how bad me and my mods are. But then when they don't like those people, they come back here and they want to be acknowledged and wonder why you don't acknowledge. Oh, wait a minute. Anyway, so anyway, I did record this weekend, and now I'll put up the channel members, the Tomahawk, lift ticket, and the Hydro Sled. I know everyone's been waiting for the Hydro Sled. They're like, man, I need the classic review of the Hydro Sled. There's Ken. Okay, my life is complete. Hi, everyone. Hashtag acknowledge me.
Acknowledge me.
The acknowledge me, just so you know, that is all thanks to my moderator, Action Figs Ed. He's the one that threw it out in our mods chat, and I went and did that, and the head looks hilarious because if you've seen Ken is not muscular. So anyway, yeah, I got that coming up this week. I should be getting the retro carded Zap, Crazy Legs, and the female Crimson Guard. I should actually have them tomorrow, from all accounts, and talking to Sarge. So if he gets them, I'll head on over there. We have the Circle of Jerks tomorrow, so more than likely I'll record at least one of them afterwards. Depending on the time, I might drop it tomorrow night if I have it. If not, Wednesday morning, which will then push back the classic reviews because I try not to put them together because I don't care what YouTube says. If you drop too many videos at the same time, they definitely will nerf it. And I'd rather not nerf a classified video for a classic review, as well, they do much, much better for me. And more people want to see that. So, but yeah. Clint says Ken has the same tattoos as Roman Reigns. I don't know. Ken has never come to Club Tarkin with us and jumped in the pool, so I have no idea. He might for all I know. I will say this: I'm willing to bet that Roman Reigns can hold his liquor better than Ken. Just what I'm thinking. Anyway, so this weekend for this week, the classic reviews, I have Monkey Wrench coming, then Thrasher, and then the Thunder Machine. I know people are waiting for the Thunder Machine as everyone wants a classified version. So I was able to get that. I can tell you the only thing that I'm missing on the Thunder Machine for my original one is the cage. And I think I tell the story in the video. I kicked myself because there was this big garage sale, and it clearly, the guy must have owned a toy store. Maybe he just swap meets or whatever. It was all toys. That's all it was. And I bought a few things really cheap too. Like $30. I bought like his 2. I bought pieces of the whale that I needed. And it had one of the cages, and I didn't buy it. Because I thought I had it, and I kicked myself when I got home because, again, it might have cost me another $5. It was a few years ago, and I kicked myself on that. So eventually I'll get that because I need it. I definitely need it. It's gonna drive me nuts. As that I had it, and it's one of those things that just somehow got lost during the time of moving stuff around and, moving from one house to another, an apartment, and getting stuff out of someone's garage when my ex and I split up, all kinds of awesome stuff like that. So anyway, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. So I know people say they don't care for this, but Olivia's not here right now. We are through a season and a half, maybe even more than a season and a half of 90210. And it's funny because I mentioned this over on Smoking Joe's. Now, I wasn't on Smoking Joe's, but I was in the chat. And everyone bashes me for the 90210 and they're making jokes. But all of you seem to, most of you seem to know the characters. I mean, Shane brought up about the graduation. Donna Martin graduates. I mean, come on. Everyone remembers. Like, the fact that so many of you know it, but you don't want to admit it. 90210 was always a huge guilty pleasure of mine as a kid. Actually, all my friends watched it because it was so bad. It's good, and it's so bad. It is so bad. And Olivia getting to watch it now, and she cannot stop mentioning Shannon Doherty's eyes that are They're like an inch apart, man. They're like one is so much higher than the other. Stanley Eberhard jumping in here saying, still rocking my Club Tarkin shirt often. And look at this. Clint Jorgensen, 90210 is the best. Thank you very much. Look at that. Kuda's Garage. Yep, I watched it. It was so much fun. And I told Olivia because, like, many of you may not remember this, but what made 90210 take off was there were always reruns in the summer, and they decided that, hey, you know what? Why don't we have them working or what they're doing during the summer and play new episodes? And sure enough, it took off after that. And that was like season 2. And then it went right into high school. And I'll tell you what, their timeline, like, they just ignore timelines. Like, I know over on the TV terminal, Adam and we've talked about timelines and other shows. They ignore timelines. Like, so bad. 610 Joe Jaddy saying, what's up, Punk? Glad you're back. Y'all hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you. That's another thing. If you are not subscribed, you're watching on the replay, make sure you subscribe, because YouTube will continue to show it to you, even if you're not subscribed and you might think that you are. My moderator, Ed, thought he was subscribed for the longest time, and come to find out he wasn't. Now, I will say this. Now, Stanley says he watched it. I did not watch Melrose Place. I watched it a little bit. I couldn't tell you one character on it. I know it was a light spinoff of 90210. I never watched that. I did watch Dawson's Creek, but I couldn't tell you anyone other than Dawson and Pacey, and I can't remember the girls' names. But I remember one is, Tom Cruise's, baby mama, and the other one was the dead Joker's exes. Look here, Tony's Figs jumping in and saying, "Oh shit, Punk's back! Damn it, Larry! I am Katie Holmes. Thank you, but I couldn't tell you what her name was. I'm sure if I heard it, I would know, but I know Pacey and Dawson. I didn't watch the whole thing. 90210 I watched to the beginning to the end. I even watched a remake of it, and then I even watched the 1 season reboot that they did, which is very unique. But anyway, I wanted to give you guys an update. It's a lot easier to watch a series. It's a lot easier to watch a whole series than bouncing back and forth. Like we were doing with Buffy and Angel. There was a lot. But yeah, so there's that. Now, I do want to mention something I did watch. And if you haven't watched this, you have Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, I don't know how people... I mean, again, Netflix is one of those constants. His and Hers has been popping up. And it's got John Berthal, whatever his name is. It has Valkyrie. I can't think of her name. It is a good movie. Good. It's a 6-episode TV show, a Netflix TV show. Really, really good. You will not figure it out. I'm just going to tell you that much right now. But if you have 6 hours to spend, go watch it. I enjoyed it. I love a show that, there's going to be a beginning and an end, and it keeps you guessing, and you keep changing. Like, oh, it's got to be this person. It was really, really good. It was unique, which is something you don't hear very much when it comes to TV shows. But it was really good. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you tell me you figured it out, I'm going to say bullshit. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway. Todd C says Punk's near-death experience gave him the revelation of how important 90210 and other teen dramas was in his life. I've been wanting to watch... 90210 was brought up to Olivia before we finished Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So understand, we started watching Buffy. I wanted her to watch Buffy. I realized how bad the first season was, but then I realized she wanted to watch it. And then we watched all of Suits because she wants to be a lawyer. And so we watched all of Suits. Then we went back to Buffy and Angel. And I was like, I think 90210 is going to be the next one. And she's enjoying it. Yes, a punk with TV shows. We tried that. It didn't work. Delta 17 says, I partied with some of the 90210 cast for a few days, and Bud Bundy, Toy Spelling sure could drink back then. That doesn't really shock me. But yeah, Skunk Works Studio, Jeff jumping in here. Great to see you. We got Shark Guy saying, good to see you're feeling better, Punk. Also, His and Her is a quality watch. Yes, look, just Jeff saying it too. His and Hers is fucking fantastic. Again, it's like 6 hours. So you're going to sit down, you're going to watch it. Again, it's 6 episodes, and there's no season 2. It ends awesome. Again, I think you're going to be, I think if you like something where you don't know what it is right away, you're going to be happy with it. And yeah, there's a lot to it. There really is. They pack a lot into those 6 hours. Better than a lot of stuff that we see today. So anyway, I'm glad that the other people that have watched it have fully agreed that it was quality. It is worth the watch. And again, it's really shitty out, people. If you haven't noticed, I mean, some of you may be living in 60-degree weather, 70-degree weather. The majority of us, I think, are stuck in it's 12 degrees outside right now. And when the wind blows, it doesn't feel like no 12 degrees. Stephen K says, limited series are the way to go. Tell me your story and let's move on. We don't need series dragging on. I agree and disagree. I love when there's a good series, but not every story needs 7 fucking years to tell me it, right? There are arcs in people's lives that you only need to know like part of it. That's exactly how this one is, right? That's how this one is. And again, I don't think that you're gonna be too upset with it. It's 110 degrees Fahrenheit here today, and I haven't left the house. It's like the opposite here. All right. So anyway, I wanted to mention those. As I did mention, Thursday with a Friend. It's already up there. Ben Conway will be my guest. He is the owner of Skeletron. He is seriously one of the nicest people you can ever meet. I've met him a couple times at Joe Fest. I talked to him a little bit this year at Joe Fest. He's one of those guys that, like, he knows the people in the community. He knows the people that have supported him, which is huge to me if you haven't figured stuff out like that, right? You know, that's huge when you know people and you acknowledge those people. And I mentioned it at Assembly Required. He saw me just standing there. I was actually waiting for somebody to come down, and he's like, hey, come over here. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, you just sitting by yourself. I'm like, no, I'm just waiting for somebody. He's like, all right. And then he came over and talked to me, and they saw me eating by myself, which I know people think it's crazy. I went to lunch by myself this weekend. I like just sitting down at a restaurant, people watching, not being bothered by. I don't know why people have such a problem eating or going to movies by themselves. It's actually pretty enjoyable at times. But yeah, Ben, again, really, really good guy. And I don't think that it's going to come off any different when he's on Thursday. So, and then the week after that, like I mentioned, we'll have Rad Toys Galaxy. He'll be jumping on. He was supposed to be on last week, but I didn't feel up to it. I was like, there's no way. And then, like I said, the last one that I had was Casey from Podcast from the Pit. And I'm going to drop this right here. And so I want you to go over there. They're trying to get the 500 before Joe Fest. I don't see that being a problem. He started off with a 420 when we started the show right now, and he's at 422. So 2 of you went over there and subscribed. It is greatly appreciated. Smog17 jumping in here saying, I'm just going to say I was quickly reading through it, Smog, and I did not read Ben is such a rad guy. I put that A somewhere between the G and the Y. I'm like, whoa, why are we going here? But it's such a rad guy. I've emailed Skeletron about stuff, and he is super helpful with problems or questions. And at Joe Fest, he was super dope. No, dude. So I actually I messaged Skeletron and this was before, like, we had talked, I guess, before, but I had messaged him on Instagram saying, hey, do you have a list, or where can I find the list of everything that I had ordered? Because I completely forgot. And he emailed me because he knew who I was. He went in, found the email, sent me everything, and said, hey, this is everything that you've ordered. This is what's been shipped. Here's what, like, he knew my personal email. And then I went, oh shit. I'm like, when did I order this? And then I remember that I'd ordered other stuff. So I had ordered a few extra things, but I don't regret it at all. Billy Boys Toys jumping in here saying, hey, Punk. Hi, everyone. Great to see you over here. And then we have M. Hatfield, member for 3 months. So you get a
Fucking Phil Collins.
All right. So, the topic, just so you guys know, we actually got a lot of stuff to get through. You know who I wish would stalk me for stuff is my Operation Recall shit, because I ordered more. I thought it was supposed to ship out. I was under the impression that everything was going to ship out before January. Before the end of January. I guess we're not to the end of January, but I was under the impression it was going to ship out well before. So I think I might have to contact Carson about that and say, hey, is the stuff going out? Because I ordered all of wave 1. I didn't go all in. I ordered it before it was supposed to be up, and I thought by now some of the stuff would ship. It has not. Brandon R jumping in here. All right. So, I was going to mention something else. I don't know. Oh yeah. So the topic just got pushed back because certain things had been sent to me about a distribution and what GI Joes were actually ordered from a distributor. Now, again, maybe this stuff doesn't all come true, but this is stuff that this is from a source that I trust. I mean, I know this person, and this actually came. He said this is stuff that's actually been ordered in the system. That's why I put up that thumbnail. This is some of the stuff that was already talked about. And then there's a few other things. But the fact that it was actually ordered so far. Now, there have been other things that have been ordered that has been changed. So we can't say that they won't change things. There's always stuff that can be a running change. And then, hey, you know what? I guess someone could be pulling the wool over other people's eyes. I think it would be foolish for this person to do it. But again, this comes from a supply chain. So we're going to talk about that. And hey, if it comes true, it comes true. But with everything, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not sitting up here, pounding my fist on the table or on the desk saying, hey, I'm right. I know everything. But just some of the stuff I've heard more than a couple times. And one of the things will be one of those things where we go, oh, is this really coming true? You said it's never going to happen, and that's never what I said, but we'll talk about it. Matthew says he has to make sure all ins gets out first. I get that. Then the Kickstarter backers, and then the late orders. But he's been political ranting lately. Yes, I have seen that. And again, one of the figures that I ordered, I did back, and then I ordered the rest of them because now I want them. And again, I'm perfectly fine. But again, as long as we've been waiting 3+ years. Even though I know a lot of people have gotten them, Matthew, I know you've gotten them. There still is that little pit inside going, am I not going to get these? did something get missed? And this kind of goes, this goes with a lot of different things like that. So, but yeah, I definitely, I know it will come, but again, when you order them late, you also had one, that you backed from the beginning. You just start going, well, is this coming? So, Smog says, I would have ordered the Operation Recall stuff, but $40 is a bit too much for me. I don't think they're $40. They're like $25. They were like $25 each. I'm not saying they're not expensive. I'm not saying they're not as expensive, but they're not 40-ish. That is Operation Monster Force. That stuff is $40, but a different scale also. All right. So quickly, you can see I got my shirt on right now. I also have up in the store, we do have the Circle of Jerks. We got the Roman Duke. So if anyone is interested, I know it's sometimes hard to find. This is a link to the spread shop. So if you're looking to buy any merchandise, I know people see it. They wonder where it's at. It's usually at the bottom of any video of mine that you see, but you actually have to click on it because it only gives you items. So when you click on the item, then you actually have to go to see all the products, and you will see where everything is. It is not the greatest site. It is not the greatest site when it comes to that. I really wish it just kind of showed everything, but it doesn't. And it took like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks to get the Circle of Jerks up there so I could actually put it up there. So if you're interested in any shirts, hats, merchandise like that, you can check it out. All right. Sean Jones is jumping in and saying, what's up, Punk? And then we have Tristan T saying, howdy, Lawrence, and chat. All right. So usually this is where I talk about my sponsors. I usually bring up Hello Dope Toys. I'm not really sure what's going on with them. I know they're technically still there. I've talked to Ted. He said he will not screw anyone. If you have pre-orders, you will get the order or he will refund your money. But I don't really know what's going on in the store. But I do have Top Fun Toys. If you order anything from Top Fun Toys, there's actually Top Fun Toys. I'm sorry, Top Fun Retro Toys 3D.com. It's also in the description. If you use my code Punk with Toys, drop the A, you get 10% off. I know John has stuff coming on all the time. And, you guys know the Amazon Entertainment Earth, all that other good stuff. But I would be remiss to say tomorrow, you guys know what we have going on. We have Circle of Jerks about 6:30-ish. And then we also have Pop Blender and Matthew. And I'm still waiting for a newer updated commercial for them. But until then, if I can find it, it's somewhere in here. Where the hell is it at, Matthew? I know I have one. Oh, here it is.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons!
What is it now, Commander?
Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought!
Are you watching that show again?
Yes.
Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not.
Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel.
Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know.
Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode. And hit that bell notification.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
So, Crow, I've actually had this for quite some time. I just never got around. I mentioned it a few times, and I realized that I sent it over to G.I. Jetman. Hey, check this. Hey, he has 18 weapons, and he even mentioned that there was a code to get, from to save 10% off. So, but hey, you can speak on it, man. Like, it's one thing that's coming out of my mouth because people say, hey, you know what? You got a dog in the fight. I really don't, other than he makes really good product, and I really do like John. But yeah. You can listen to Crow. He makes a really good product at an affordable price. So, all right. So we got some Motu, but this was all that I had. So I had to go ahead and make a whole new slide because these pictures dropped today. Now this is for the Mondo. The Mondo Man at Arms, and I gotta say this, man, this is making me regret not ordering the Clawful He-Man and Skeletor. I'm not looking at. I don't really want to spend 100 plus on these figures in Motu, but I gotta say, it's gonna be hard pressed to say that there's gonna be anything better than these Masters of the Universe figures coming out. Obviously, the detail on these are just amazing. So there's like 31 pictures. So we're going to get through this because I got actually a good amount of slides to get through. But I mean, this is such an exaggerated, and again, when I say exaggerated, that's how I think of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. The big pauldron on the side. I've always loved how he's able to the jaw guard there. I've always thought that was really good. His mace is huge. This looks awesome. He has his little samurai haircut right there. I guess he would be great to him and Budo could go hang out together. Or jujitsu or jitsu, whatever his name is. You use him. Yes, Russell Lemieux, Punk with Toys, all the Motu news. This just dropped today, and like I said, I've been highly impressed with the pictures. I haven't messed with any of these. I haven't had any of these in hand. So, and again, Mondo scares me because they're owned by Funko, and who knows how long they're going to be around because Funko is Funko, but they give you a lot of stuff in here. Even some soft goods. And again, places like Savage Crucibles, they do the same thing. I actually ordered like 3 Savage Crucible things this week. They got 2 new things that came into stock. So I did order those. I actually forgot to mention that. So I should have those probably next week or so. But everything on this, everything that Mondo has shown for their Motu stuff, and I'm talking about their 1/12 scale because Mondo obviously also does the 1/6 scale. Much more expensive. I feel like they've nailed it. And if you're looking for just that one-off, you're like, hey, I'm a 1/12 scale. I want one thing to represent my Masters of the Universe. I think this is it, man. So, and they only got 4 figures so far. But as we go through all these pictures, it's hard to not be very, very impressed with that. And Just Jeff says that's a very tiny head. But I feel like that's the Motu look, though. And that's why I say when it's exaggerated, I feel like that's the Motu look. And that's just me. Maybe I'm off on that. And Smog says, wait, Mondo is owned by Funko. Never knew that. Yes, they bought them not how long did they buy them? 2 years ago or so. a lot of people were worried because Mondo always had like a really good reputation and Funko did not. But I feel like they look like um I feel like they've operated separately, which is good because Funko is operated awful. I definitely buy some of these Mondo 112 scale if they were in the budget. They are far outside of it. I can't really, I can't say much about that because you guys have seen the shit that I buy. But I understand what you're saying. And yes, these are the 200X, as Matthew and both Dan have both mentioned. But again, I think the one cool thing about the cool thing about the 200X is that they're still recognizable. When you look at the stuff, they're recognizable as who they are. You look at some of the other iterations of G.I. Joe, like Renegades, you can figure out who some of them are, but sometimes, their look is completely different. And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I always felt like the 200X, it was such a modern update, a modernization of it. And I really like the way these look, the 200X in general. So, but this is a perfect mix between fantasy and technology. And I was listening to Brick and Mega J last night, and that's something Mega J continues to kind of reiterate, that this is a perfect mix between the fantasy and technology, because that's what He-Man has always been. Masters of the Universe, Motu. We always called it He-Man. No one knew it was fucking Motu. I'm just gonna say that. So here we have a snake head, so we can see when Man-at-Arms is bad. So they're throwing in these little, these little things, so you don't have to have him just as, Man-at-Arms. He can be fighting He-Man here. You can see he's actually beating He-Man. He also looks like a V warrior. And here's Clawful. You can see how big Clawful is. This is a good shot. And again, just seeing the soft goods that they use, where they're not overdoing it. It really, to me, it accents everything that you're seeing. Just the fur around the boots, the loincloths, different things like that. It just makes it pop. It gives you that feel that it's high quality. Now, again, I haven't messed with any of these figures, so I can't tell you exactly how good or bad they are. But I know people really do like them, or at least the 12-inch figures. I know, Punk, you get your words out. Here we have all four of them battling, and again, they do some awesome photography. So, but if you are looking just for, like, you're like, hey, I need just my one and only Master of the Universe. That's what I need. I'm not a huge Motu guy. I loved it, but I want just that definitive characters. And maybe the 5.5 Squatty Potty figures, the Origin figures, aren't for you. And maybe you looked at Masterverse, and again, I do think Masterverse, we have seen how much better they've gotten. Maybe this is where you go, I want a detail. And, you're going to be paying twice as much as you do for like a Mythic Legions figure here. But with everything that you get with it and the look, I can't say that it's a bad cost. Dan says, Snake Man-at-Arms was in the stories just past what they were able to do in the cartoons. That was what they had planned for him in the show and didn't get to do it. Yeah, I remember reading something about that when I was actually in the Origins and everything, especially when they did. I don't think I ever got him. Like, that was like towards where I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do this in the Origins line. But I had read up on it enough. So it's great that they're doing this stuff. You know, it's cool that they're doing stuff like this. And I think it was also in Revelations and Revolution, right? Is that what they were? One was Revelation, one was Revolution. There's also a Plan B skate video called Revolution. So, and then here he's just sticking his tongue out. That's just bad manners. But it does look good. So, and here he is running to see Thor. But, all right. And then we'll get to, so he's 6 inches and 6 3/4 inches. So he's a big, bulky figure, about the size of Gung Ho and Roadblock. And here is everything that he does come with. Now, I love the little stands that they do. Not so much as stands, but they're actually little displays. And again, for that cost, they should be throwing everything in. I believe these are around 110. But you're going to get, numerous head sculpts here, different blast effects, different hands, guns, different maces. Again, I don't balk at something that's $100, even $110, $120 if I like it, but not everyone's going to be doing stuff like that. And some people don't want to spend more than $25, and that's, again, perfectly fine. It's a choice. These aren't necessities. So that is the Motu talk for today. So you guys can all come back. We didn't lose that many people. Didn't lose that many people talking Motu. Probably because these look so damn good. So M. Hatfield says, I have a Mondo 1/6 scale Omega Red, and I think it looks great. I gotta say, like, at PowerCon a few years ago, the last PowerCon they did, last real PowerCon, they had the whole Mondo booth, and that booth was awesome. Like, and again, people have to understand 12, like, when stuff's built on a 12-inch scale, it doesn't mean that the figures are 12 inches. It means that that's what the base would be. So if a figure is like larger than life, he's not going to be, 12 inches. So you're looking at some figures that were like 14 or 15 inches. I want to say it was Beastman that just like stood out. I got to say this. I'm not big into Motu. There's not a lot of news when it comes to Motu. So, I cover what I see. Even though I don't collect it, I still like to talk about it. Now I like Motu. I like turtles. All right. Next on to my favorite company, and that is Super 7. I know. I try and be nice, but I don't remember this property at all. Now, I've watched Robo talk about it, and it's kind of odd because Robo remembers this, but he doesn't remember Silverhawks, and that is Tiger Sharks. I don't remember Tiger Sharks at all. Where Robo is the exact opposite. He doesn't remember Silverhawks. I can remember Silverhawks. I can remember the intro. I can't remember the song, but I can imagine the way that the like when they're in the sky, all the black sky, you would see the sheen, like it's supposed to be like, sparkling off of it. But here are Tiger Sharks, and they live in the same world as the Thundercats and Silverhawks. So this is Mako. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. I thought Super 7 Ultimates were $65 or $55. Well, they were. And they were like, hey, we're not charging you enough, so we're going to charge you $65 for stuff that barely articulates, but we have the property. So this is Mako. He is a Tiger Shark. Here is everything that he comes with. So he has an open head. He has a humanoid head, a couple hands, what looks to be a backpack. This is your $65 Mako. Okay, so I guess this guy is the one. He started the company that, you know, if you need to have your car painted, you go to Mako. So, oh my God, Mako. That's not what it says. Anyway, if you want Mako and you want to get your car repainted because you don't want to buy a new car, yeah, here he is, $65. You can get him. And then we're going to have Octavia. She looks like she's like, hey, if you're a Red Wing fan, you're going to grab her, you're going to throw her every time they get a hat trick. You want to throw that octopi on the ice. Here she is. You can tell what the amazing articulation in those knees. You know, they don't bend any further than that. But hey, $65 because $55 wasn't enough for you to get all of this. Her extra tentacles, bunch of hands, her humanoid head, which it's kind of weird because her humanoid head is in a different color. And then she has her. It looks like Woody's little gas, like Woody's little fart noise. Like if Woody's fart noise had an accessory, that's what it would look like right there. Three Star says, I think she's better. I think there's better value from Mako. You're probably correct. So again, here you are. And then we have T-Ray. Now, this guy actually looks like he's a little bit bigger. I know nothing about him except for I believe this is maybe the guy that killed Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin, you need. This is the guy that clearly killed Steve Irwin. So here we go with this guy. You can see the amazing articulation in this guy. He's going to get close to a 45 bend in those elbows. Baldy, it is never ever too soon. Remember that. Yeah, too soon is not a thing. But this guy here, come on, wouldn't you rather be known that this guy killed you rather than an actual stingray? Shark Guy says you'll never get to visit Australia with that talk, Lawrence. Visa revoke. I've seen your fucking spiders. Don't worry. I have no need to ever go there. All right, so this guy, and still, I don't think this is a great value, but they give you like 3 heads, some sort of body armor. He looks like he's a bigger figure. He has a whip. Is this a whip? I might have to reach out to the whip expert and find out if this is an actual whip. But he has his different hands. He has a pointy hand, different things like that. Brandon R says if they were $15 to $20, if they are 15 to 20 figure series, I could see these being really popular with the kids if there was a cartoon too. Yeah, that was a huge problem though. And then this asshole jumping in here, Toy Optics, saying all the steroids have saved Punk's life. He has arisen. No steroids, antibiotics, just antibiotics. It's not a whip, it's a nay-nay. All right. So anyway, this is $65. Now you might be thinking, hey, is that a good deal? Don't worry. If you order from Super 7, they're going to give you a bonus super pack. Now understand, you don't get a discount. A matter of fact, if you order all 3, you have to actually pay 3 cents more than if you go to BBTS. And I calculated, at least to my house, for tax and shipping, $217.99 is what it would come if I wanted to order this directly from Super 7 with the super bonus pack of these 3 heads. So if you are looking for a great deal, you can order directly from Super 7. And remember, it's only going to cost you roughly $218 for these amazingly articulated figures. Yeah, listen, I know people like this shit, but once again, like, I thought getting Brian out of being in charge of all this shit, somebody would finally say, you know what? Look at every other fucking action figure and let's fucking fix it. Let's do what other companies do. Give articulation, give double jointed, elbows and knees. Give them a fucking value, because for $65, I look at this and then I go over and I look at a Savage Crucible. I look at the Mythic Legions and I go, we're not even on par here. We're not even on par. We're not playing in the same fucking field or anything. You're literally the minor leagues, but you think, like you should be able to charge more. It's the biggest crock of shit. But hey, you know what? This is why I have blood pressure medicine. And I try not, again, I don't buy this shit. I know people like it, but it's one of those things where it's like, read the fucking room. Your shit is always on clearance. And when I say on clearance, we're talking $20. We've seen the shit we've seen the G.I. Joes go down to like $11. And that's when people buy them. And then I got idiots trying to cram a Cobra Commander into a HISS tank going, you can make it work. No, you fucking can't. You can make it be a fucking statue. That's what you can do. Anyway. So anyway, here you go. If you want it, $218. I do believe that you can pay for a subscription. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's a subscription where you get free shipping. But who the hell is ordering from Super 7? Stuff is garbage. Anyway, there you go. That's the Tiger Sharks. On to NECA. I don't even know what I put in for. I don't even know what I put in for NECA. No. When all those figures, I think it was wave 2. It might have been wave 1. When they were $11, I didn't even order them. I bought one Super 7 and it broke. I was like, nope. I gave it a chance. Gave it a chance. All right. So we have Big Bird. NECA Big Bird. $59.99 is the MSRP. So if you are looking for this, I know people really love Sesame Street. Now, I don't know how Sesame Street goes out of business, and now NECA is like, hey, let us pay you to produce your damn figures. This type of shit I don't understand. I don't run a toy company, though. But he looks like Big Bird. And they give you a bunch of different accessories. And I've said it again, like, I think NECA gives you some of the best accessories. And they are built off the 7-inch scale. But most of their accessories, other than if they have guns, aren't going to fit with your G.I. Joe Classified. But I know people are going to like this. Like Matthew jumps in right here. Like NECA Sesame Street is awesome. If I wasn't cutting back. And one of the biggest things about NECA is very rarely does it go on sale. I don't want to say it never goes on sale because then someone's going to point out, no, dude, it was on sale. But I think that this is, again, I think it's good. People know Sesame Street. It is a property that I think that, 50-year-olds, and I'm talking about like men and women, might walk by and be like, you know what? I like this, and pick up a couple and put them on their desk at work and different things like this. And look at Toy Optics. Spec saying, you're buying them, Mets, and just admit it. You are right. Ross did get a bunch of them, but they're not on sale is what I'm saying. Like the G.I. Joe Classified, we've seen them. We've seen Star Wars at Ross. They go on sale. These did get clearanced out, but you don't go on a Target and never see them marked down, is all that I'm saying. And I don't know why, because looking at some of them, they should be. So here's Big Bird. And again, I do think these look really nice. I think NECA sometimes they either nail it or they're just off. And then there's this one. Now I did have to quickly look. This is not horror Big Bird. This is first year Big Bird, I guess. This creepy face. Like, this is something that you could wake up having an absolute fucking nightmare about, because it looks horrendous. You can see why Sesame Street said, "Whoa, we're scaring the kids." You look at this Big Bird, and then you look at this. Okay, this Big Bird looks like Dorothy from the Golden Girls. She got the big hair like that and everything. Or he does. But this one here, this looks like it just snorted some cocaine. It hasn't slept in like 48 hours. Yes, first year Big Bird is scary. Woody's saying, is Big Bird gonna have a slap a hoe? I mean, seriously, this thing looks like it has been fucking just like snorting cocaine for like 48 hours. Nowhere Man Child, Big Bird year one, when he first met Jim Gordon. Do I know Nowhere One? I don't know, but you know what? I wanted to play this.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
Spec saying, yeah, this is OG Big Bird head. I do not remember this at all. MCR saying needs a flocked variant. That actually makes sense. But that Big Bird, like that, I'm sorry, that head is, that is a thing of nightmares. But they should have all kinds, like they should do all kinds of Sesame Street like this, where they're just it's just the cracked out versions of them. Tony Tran saying, where is Big Bird's brain? I don't know. Dude, I don't know this, but anyway, I think the Big Bird looks cool. I've never been a Sesame Street fan other than Oscar the Grouch. I know, go figure, right? But that thing is a thing of nightmares. And I understand it's year one. Seriously, like someone must have looked at that and said, "Yeah, let's not scare the kids." But anyway, if you want a Big Bird with the big B, you get a necktie, you get a little scarf, and a little teddy bear. Boss Fight Studios. I know people love the Fraggle Rock. So here we have Moki, $44.99. Now, I have always enjoyed the stuff that I see from Boss Fight Studios. I do think they make good product. I think their plastic feels good, and they usually articulate well. And I know there's a lot of things going on with tariffs, but I feel like their prices just seem to be, I don't know, $45 for this. To me, it seems like it's a little too expensive. And again, I've mentioned this numerous times. I don't know what everyone's operating cost is, but it seems like a little expensive. These Fraggle Rocks seem to be a little bit up there. Just my opinion, but I feel like they must be doing well because they're going pretty deep with them. So here you have Moki. Did I enunciate it properly, guys? Toy Optics, tell us more about how their plastic feels. Well, I am a plastic expert along with the MPB's Battleground. So we are, we're able to have opinions that others don't get to have when it comes to the plastic. So anyway, it does come with these three little critters. I don't know what the hell they are. But anyway, if you like Fraggle Rock, I remember Fraggle Rock. I couldn't tell you one character that was in Fraggle Rock because the Muppet Babies were way, way, way better. Wait, is that Gabu or Gobu? Because I have Gobu on the other one. Well, okay, then I got them wrong. Lightfoot, thank you. And it didn't really say it on it. I went in order of what it showed. I told you I didn't know who they were. So, but here's everything that you're going to get. It looks like some sort of, is it a map of the Fraggle Rock? And whatever these little things are, I don't know what they are. And Clint Jorgensen says Fraggle is the best character in the show. I don't know who Fraggle is. All right, so I guess this is Moki. The other one was Gobu. So I apologize, whoever they are. I didn't say it. As you can see, I actually had to put this in here. So here is, I don't know, whoever it is. All right. So this must be Moki. And again, it looks good for the most part. The President Fraggle Stoner. Anyway, if you like these, again, I like the idea that I think Boss Fight gives some pretty unique properties. Give us V. Oh, wait a minute. I think someone else is giving us V. I should throw those in here. It's been a long couple weeks. But if you want this figure, I'm not even going to try and figure out which one this is. You guys can tell me. I tried making sure I had the names, but clearly they were backwards from what they showed. So, but here you go. This is everything that she comes with. And again, I like the fact that they give multiple, different heads on these figures, but you can only have one head on each character. So eventually it becomes like, well, am I getting anything else? You may be giving me more, but does it really help? If I can't use it, more accessories and 4 of the things are heads, I can't really do anything with them all at once. So, but if you are interested in the Fraggle Rocks, they have this is considered a wave. So these next 2 figures, and then Mafex. Now, yeah. So they're giving you a Bruce Wayne, and I believe that I saw these. I didn't have the price when I did the slides. I believe they're 130 on BBTS. Little pricey for just a Bruce Wayne, and you'll see Clark Kent after, but they give you a lot of other things too. So a good looking suited figure, with Bruce with his nice glasses on. He's got his gym bag, what looks like some sort of suitcase. Aspen Vacation Bruce Wayne. But yeah. Now here's the different head sculpts that he's going to have, where he's kind of angry, he's kind of smiling, and then he has his glasses because he drank way too much, or maybe he fought too many people. Matthew says they are $90 on the foreign sites. That's great, but BBTS has them for $130. That's what the MSRP is, or roughly. As a matter of fact, I didn't even see it till this morning or till today. So, but yeah, gotta have that BBTS tax, Well, is it really BBTS tax, or do they have to make their own profit? Then just as I'm already dreading this purchase. So this is what's unique about it. it comes with Batman legs. Now, I would assume that if you are buying a Bruce Wayne character, you're going to need Batman. And this is from Hush. So why would they give you Batman legs? They're going to give you a rebreather that I guess you can use also for Catwoman. I did not look at I did not look at the solicitation, so I can't see all the other stuff. But they have these propellers on the bottom. So this is when he's in the water. So the boots have the propeller. Now, this is going to be great if you can do water photography. I can only imagine how difficult it is. I mean, I think it's hard enough for people to do, the eels and torpedo and wetsuit, let alone getting something like this. But at least, I mean, this kind of goes along with the lines of, hey, you wanted draped wings for Goliath, for gargoyles. We're going to give them to you, but they're going to come with Bronx. So if you want this here, well, you're going to have to buy $130 or $90 on the foreign site, Bruce Wayne. Now, I'm going to guess that if you're fully into this Hush line, you're going to want the Bruce Wayne anyway. You're going to be doing different things like that. So anyway. And Matthew says, no, that's not MSRP. MSRP is 90. That's import tax. Don't kid yourself. BBTS marks stuff way up on imports. Always have. Okay, I don't really care. It's 130 on BBTS. Go find other sites to get it from, guys. A matter of fact, like if you want stickers from Circle of Jerks, you got to contact Tony. Hey, if you want to know what sites are the foreign sites, everyone redirect all your questions to Matthew, Mamu Nestor on Instagram. He loves taking a whole bunch of emails. So why don't you guys all right now go and send Mamu Nestor on Instagram a bunch of messages. He loves it. All right, so here's Clark Kent from Hush in a blue suit, and you can obviously see they're completely different bucks. So, and they're going to give you not so much Superman here, but they give you this here. Now, it's just kind of pointed out that this is more of a statue. This becomes a McFarlane figure here. You need to directly contact Matthew. Forward all your emails, all your questions directly to him, so he can send you the actual link to it. So this comes with it, and I guess this is a way to incentivize you to order, the Bruce Wayne and the Clark Kent. Again, if you go to BBTS, you're going to be spending $130. According to Matthew, you can get them for $80 elsewhere. How much you're going to pay in shipping, I don't know. That's between you, the foreign sites, and Matthew. All right. And here's all the different head sculpts that he's going to have. So you have the glasses, which I don't think look really good. I just don't think that looks really good. You kind of have an angry Clark, and then you kind of have a smirking Superman Clark Kent, or however you want to see him. All right. 4 Horsemen. Whew. Actually, I'm going to take a breather. And I don't know if Tony's here. I know Tony loves Moss Man, so I got to find some sort of Moss Man. Here we go.
Welcome back to Late Night with Moss Man. Oh man, we've had such a crazy ride so far with all the amazing guests and shows that we've watched throughout this 36-hour stream. And I want to make sure y'all know we got to keep donating. We got to keep getting them numbers up. Skeletor, what are you doing here? Skeletor has come for the circle jerk. Ooh. Come again? That's the plan. Skeletor, I think you're confused. There's no this is a Late Night with Moss Man, so I don't know what you're referring to. Man, Tony's Figs told me I could meet 4 bald men here for a circle jerk. And Skeletor will not leave until he's satisfied. Skeletor, I think you might be confused with the show that's called Circle of Jerks, and they're not on right now. Then they like do a show like every week or every other week or something. I don't watch it. Fool! I promise you, Skeletor is not confused. Skeletor, I'm trying to tell you there's no circle jerk going on here right now.
I got this. Skeletors. What you're looking for is it's back here in the back.
Yes, Skeletor will be satisfied. I don't even know what's happening anymore, guys. So, maybe we just kick it back to the 36-hour live stream, and y'all just keep donating money for Toys for Tots. Yeah, late night with Mothman, I guess.
All right, so 4 Horsemen dropped something that will be coming soon, and this is the Highlands Warrior. This is the ToyCon New Jersey 2026 exclusive, which will be happening April 18th through the 19th. Don't ever say I'm not a professional show. So, like with most, I think with all 4 Horsemen stuff, this will go up later on their site, but if you get it at the show, there is an exclusive head that comes with it. They always try and give you something extra. I wish the other companies would do this also. I know a lot of us are, we're in a race to try and get reviews out early. I understand that, but I do think that there should be something special for going to a show, something to incentivize you to want to pick it up there, to go to that show and get it there. So I think the 4 Horsemen probably do it the best of anyone when it comes to that, for the most part, where it's like, hey, these extra pieces, these extra head sculpts, you're only going to be able to get them at the con. So you either have to know someone or show up here. But if you want the figure, and I know a lot of people are going to like the figures, that, you know what, we're still going to offer it up for you. So Debo DNA jumping in here. Yes, who doesn't want exclusive head? Look at all these assholes. Do any of you think Terry knows that I even do a show? Does Terry even know that I do a show on Monday? Anyway, here is the Highlands Warrior. I think he looks really good. Again, I think 4 Horsemen do a pretty good job. Again, the accessories, the paint, the sculpts, the articulation is always going to be the thing I think that they're going to be lacking in, although they're trying to make it better. And you better, because you don't want to be Blackberry. And once again, when it comes to these, these types of fantasy stuff, Savage Crucibles, I mean, they're giving you sculpt paint, and they're giving you sculpt paint, and the articulation in the Savage Crucibles, and you just don't get that with Mythic Legion. And I don't understand, or 4 Horsemen, shall I say? I don't understand why they're so scared to add to this. Jerry Bottle says, "Who's Terry?" He is the 5th Circle jerk that doesn't know I do a show. Even though he's been on Thursday with a friend, I don't think he realizes I do a show every Monday. The Tristan says more historically accurate than the Braveheart movie. And then Matthew has to say that's not hard. So anyway, if you are interested in this figure, again, it will be available at ToyCon New Jersey. I will not travel to New Jersey just for a toy show like this. Most people won't travel to New Jersey. But it does look good. So if you know someone that's going to be there and you're interested in this, pick it up. If you don't care about the head, and I think the extra head is the one right on the end over here. Now, I believe that is the exclusive head, the one that has a more trimmed down beard and everything. Usually there's a few things. There's usually, 2 or 3 different accessories, one always being a head. I'm listen. New Jersey is above Ohio. Isn't New Jersey what you have to go through to get to New York? Yes, trimmed head is the exclusive. But anyway, here's everything that you're going to get with it. Find someone that lives in New Jersey. Paulie lives in New Jersey. And get it. All right, Fresh Monkey Fiction. They also put out some other stuff. A yellow. Now you can see all this stuff. Most of the stuff's already been shown off. So first off, here is Little Red, the Hunter Hood. This will be season 3, part 2. We saw these at Joe Fest. We didn't see these. We saw them showing these off at Joe Fest. Something pretty cool about Little Red Riding Hood, but kind of changing her name and all that other, just trying to make it fit in there. So this will be their first female buck. So we can see she's going to have multiple heads. Now this is all new tooling because they don't have any female bucks. So this is going to be all new tooling. I can only imagine how many females that they're going to use across all their lines. Because God knows they have a lot of different lines going right now. But what you have here is a short-haired female. It looks like she's already going to be sporting some sort of like sports bra on her, which I think is actually a better way to go than what Boss Fight Studios did with Red Sonja. Just because that thing it's all over the place. But you're able to see everything that she's going to come here with. Here's her weapons. So I do find it unique that it looks like she has a crossbow that fires multiple bolts at once, because technically it's moving across. You get some of those effects like with machine guns. I know Hasbro, the Classified team has some, and I believe Mezco does too. But I don't know about bolts. That seems a little unique. And then here's everything else that she is going to have. Again, gives you vibes of Lady J with her spears, crossbows, bolts, different stuff like that. So, but there's a figure that we haven't seen fully painted yet. So I'm definitely interested in seeing what it's fully going to look like after it's painted. So Tristan says that's exactly what I wear when hunting. Are you going to say that's not what you... All right. So this goes back to 2 weeks ago. I had all this up there. Mr. Madgus quickly says it looks more like a Corsica. I don't think it looks anything like the Mercury Corsica. Was it Mercury that made the Corsica? It might be. I mean, it's hard to see in grayscale. At least, again. But I think you might be right. It looks like maybe it zips all the way down. It's just, again, you get that diaphragm cut so high. But yeah, I think you might actually be right. But you can clearly see, and I think you meant corset. Not the Corsica, which was a really shitty car. I think the Corsica was also the Tempo. All right. So we saw this before. This is the Blood Sworn of Dracula. So I think you're basically getting like a figure and a half, if I'm correct with it, where like they have a half a body. $40. I have to say this. I mean, if I'm going to complain about other companies, you kind of got to do the same thing here. Their prices are getting a little lofty there. The Chevy Corsica, thank you very much. The Chevy Corsica, okay, that's what it was. So then it wasn't a Tome. What was what else was the Corsica? Because actually the Tempo and the Ford Tempo, and there's another one that was the same. Anyway, but here you go. Third quarter of 2026, $40. Again, your price is starting to get a little lofty. You've kind of jumped up way too high. You started off, I think, at 36. Then they quickly jumped to, I think, 37 or 38. Now they're already at 40. So, and then we have Day of Ruin saying, yo, now I know I've never seen you before. So you're going to get the...
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You got to understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
And he says, what the hell is this junk? This is Operation Monster Force. So, this is, they tell the story of it. If Dracula is completely wiped out, if I've seen you before, I don't remember, but I'm sure Matthew will tell me. I can't really pay attention. I can't click over there and find out. If Dracula gets wiped out and there's blood around, he can recreate himself. So that's kind of what they're doing here. Oh, it's Terry. I've never seen you before, though. I think we talked about that. So all the circle jerks are here. We got lots of assholes. You know what? Here, quickly. If you guys don't know, we have this tomorrow.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
And then we have this travesty jumping in here, Mr. Wonderful. So anyway, yeah. So basically, if Dracula gets wiped out, he can respawn, and he can respawn other members that have been killed. So that's basically what they're doing here. They're using this stand to make it spawn, which I think is a neat idea. Again, no, it really doesn't. But I like the idea. But again, if I'm going to call out someone like Super 7 for having less plastic on something, like a Snarf, and still charging the same price, I got to do it with companies that I enjoy also and that I support. And I just think that their price, and they really need to rethink this. I understand they can only go through BBTS. But something has, I think this is the type of stuff that will hurt their product. But here's kind of everything that you're going to get. You're going to get a shield with them. They do look good. These are Foosh, or based off of the Foosh molds. So the exact same skeletons that they had, except for they're in the blood red here. But I think this is a neat idea. Using the stand this way, so and Terry says I like it, But aren't these the same molds someone else is using or use? Yes, these are the Foosh. You should really talk to Matthew about it. He's a huge fan of using the Foosh stuff. All right. Here we have Major Striker. Again, $39.99. Third quarter. And if you don't know, this kind of looks like a former James Bond. They're giving you lots of James Bond, aren't they? They don't make any, they don't hide anything. That is the one thing that I will say. They don't come right out and say that, hey, you know what? We're doing a head sculpt of Sean Connery, or hey, we're doing this figure that was inspired by this G.I. Joe comic cover, but they let you know. It's not hidden. Like, no one goes, oh, I didn't realize that's supposed to be Hooded Cobra Commander. Like, yeah, it's right there. War Chest Full of Toys is jumping in here. He just got done on a conference call with Viper Island. He let him know everything that is coming out. So Viper Island should have that up, calling everyone out later on today, if not tomorrow. All right. So this is going to be the exact same suit, only in blue. If you remember the old Eagle Force, they did stuff with the Eagle Force. This is a continuation of the Eagle Force, literally from the 80s. And they talk about it in their podcast that he was Sergeant Stryker. He eventually becomes a major. He's now leading this dark directives. All right. It's not a different season as they're doing it. They wanted to be in between. You are going to get a smoking hand. Please let this be interchangeable with Wolverine, with Nick Fury. We need the smoking cigar to be interchangeable with other Marvel legends that you know you're never going to get it in Hasbro. But this buck is really good. Now, the one cool thing about General Brown is they give you 4 different heads. Everyone loves 4 different heads. We know that. And people will buy multiple ones. This one here, I believe it only has, I think this head sculpt. They give you the beret. These, all the accessories and guns are going to be done by, Gridiron. You can see that in the corner there. So, but they actually give him a gun. That's the one thing they didn't do with General Brown, is they just gave him a pistol, and a bunch of hands and a bunch of heads, but give us a rifle. They should all have a rifle or something to go with it. So, Mr. Mega says they need to make this dude that sent Rambo on missions. Yeah, you could do that. But anyway, next one is Black Suit for the Village People edition. So anyway, he's coming in third quarter. And these are good figures again. They're going to use these suited figures. This is the one thing that Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Workshop, they're spreading their lines out. So if you want to be a completionist with the Fresh Monkey Fiction type stuff for all their stuff, then, try. I think it's going to be very difficult. It's going to make classified seem really easy to do. So there you go with that. And then we're going to get the Forgotten King Omen of Doom. Once again, this is a $40 figure, third quarter of 2026. It does glow in the dark. So this is the same one that was the Joe Fest exclusive. And I understand what they want to do is there is a story. They have told a story for the Blood Dracula. They've told the story now for the Forgotten King. I think it would have been smart had they changed the color a little bit. So when people look at those Joe Fest exclusives, there's something different about them. Giving him a different staff or taking away one of the head sculpts on the Blood Dracula doesn't change that it's the exact same figure. It's little things like that, in my opinion, that make it so those exclusives that myself and others got at Joe Fest or found people to get for them at Joe Fest make it special. And saying, hey, but what you're going to get here is you're going to get an extra staff or a different staff. But again, yes, I'm going to order it because I'm going to review it. And I like it. And this is really and I have the figure right up there. It's one of the best glow in the dark figures, but something should have been done differently. It should not be the exact same. No, and you're absolutely right. It's $40 for a new staff, but again, not everyone has this figure. Not everyone has this figure, and I know we've talked about this on the Circle of Jerks. I don't have a problem with people having another option to get it, but something should be changed in the packaging. There's no packaging for those exclusives that they've done. All the exclusives are just in a bag. They're not in a box. If they were boxed differently, like, Dr. Mindbender, he's boxed differently. Something is slightly different. Again, this is where I think that, this is where it means something to actually keep that. I just wish they do something different. Yeah, and again, for Spec here, he said, I did not get this the first time around. I'll get it now. And I'm glad that people have the option. But if, let's say, that blue was a little bit different, or maybe it didn't glow in the dark, maybe that's what makes, the Joe Fest exclusive special. Or hell, maybe make the blood red, the Blood Dracula actually glow in the dark. That would make it special. But here you are. So this will be the third figure, the third repaint. Technically, actually, there's only one painted figure. It'll be just the third figure. So they still give you this same thing. They take away the staff, so you're getting a different staff. You're not getting the exact same staff. And this staff, he did talk about. I don't think I watched the whole podcast, but the staff is completely different. It's supposed to have different power settings and everything. So, 3-star says, not changing this at all. Shits on the first one being an exclusive. And I agree with that, because if it was boxed differently, but it's not, again, it's just bagged. It's just bagged. And I understand that, hey, they said, you know what, not everyone had the chance to get it. That's cool. But if it was boxed, and like you said, Dr. Mindbender, we obviously eventually will get another Serpentor, but that Serpentor is boxed differently. That's what makes it different. So, I'm just kind of reading some of this stuff. And then 3-star says, that's the difference. You're paying for this one to have that fancy box. Yeah, but again, for the exclusive is where you should have a fancy box. I'm trying to think if they were 36 or 40. They were 40 this year. I think these ones might have been 36 at the time. At the show they were. Warchest says, zero paint app, clear figure in a poly bag with a stapled on header. Really doesn't do it for me, but I'm happy for the people who do. Again, I like the figure. I mean, for me, I like the figure, but I'm with you 100%. And again, for these ones, I understood. This is like, hey, we need to get this out. We can do this. We can put it in a bag. We really can't get the box. But all the ones that they've done since then, they really should have had a box done, because they already had the boxes already set. They could have made an exclusive box. So, and then Coda jumping in here saying better late than never. Hey, never apologize for being late. I'm happy anyone is willing to come in here and spend a little bit of time with us. All right. So anyway, so this is the Omen of Doom, the Forgotten King. Again, if you're perfectly happy with the glow in the dark one that you have, that Joe Fest, awesome. If you need that staff, if you do reviews, you're going to pick this up. If you didn't have it, good for you. You're going to be able to get one for cheaper than $80. And here's how it kind of looks glow in the dark. And again, it does glow in the dark really, really well. I have no complaints over the glow in the dark that they use. All right. So this is the Demi-Warg Infiltrator, $39.99. This is going to be available at all of their. This is available at all of their, all of the shows as they go, and it's going to be the exact same thing that they did for the other exclusive. The only thing that you're going to get now, it says you get an exclusive here of Braxton Van Helsing. I don't think you get, whether you order it or not, you get it. The only thing you get is a pin. So I'll be 100% honest. I'm disappointed that that's what they do. This should be, if I order this, now this is going to go up for sale for everyone else. I believe after all the cons, and I believe it's supposed to be, hey, if you order at the con, you get it first. But this should be, if you order at the con, you're the only one that gets this Braxton Van Helsing portrait along with this rifle. But everyone's going to get it. You're going to get a pin. I don't even know where the fuck my pin is. I think it's on my lanyard. They gave us a pin, and that's cool and all, but it sucks. Like, once again, it's supposed to be something exclusive. And it's really not that exclusive. And they're not the only company that does it. And again, I want this stuff as much as anyone else. I want this stuff as much as anyone else, but there is something about something being exclusive because you could go to a show or you made it to a show and you got it. So, but this is something that is supposed to be completely different. They talked about this Demi-Warg here being different than the Killer Warg. They are, I believe they said they are smaller werewolves, but they are more violent and more aggressive. They're able to sneak into places, and they talked about the Braxton Van Helsing absolutely hates his cousin, and he doesn't know that he's been transformed. So the Demi-Warg, it is supposed to be a whole other story, a whole other type of werewolf. I think a lot of this has to do with they want something at a more affordable price. That's their own mold. They can do this. But if you know somebody, you're going to be able to get them to order this. You probably don't want the pin. You probably don't care. It's like getting fucking patches with your goddamn Rattler. No one gave a shit. Here's everything that it comes with, which we've already seen for the most part. I believe the sniper rifle, I think that's new to their line, and same with the shotgun. That shotgun is definitely not new to Gridiron, as I believe I have one floating around here because it was way too big. And you see the shotgun shells, it looks like right down here. Still the same blast effects. They need some new blast effects. I'm just going to tell you guys that much right now because all the blast effects look the same. So yes, collect your official Demi-Warg Werewolves pin at the convention. So this is what you're going to get. Again. But if it's anything like the other ones, it will be available afterwards. So yeah, visit our booth anytime during the show. Yeah, all they need is your email. So if you had any other shows, you just go there, or if you need someone, if you know someone that's going to go there, just give them your email. This is where they're going so far. ZoloCon, Toylanta, Joe Fest, Legions Con, and Twin Cities Con, which seems like an odd one considering I don't think that's a very large con, but that is where they're going. So there you go. All right. This is the ZoloCon exclusive. 2026, February 28th through March 1st. It is $40. Who's going to ZoloCon? Because I need them to pick this up for me. Baldy, Licky Baldy, are you going there? This is once again like a smoky translucent. I like these Black Watch figures. So this is the Shadow Wraith. I feel like their exclusives that are actually at the show are just going to be these translucents. They're probably much cheaper to do. Cheaper to do because there's no paint apps. There's paint apps in the eyes. That's the only thing. But all the guns and everything are translucent, so they're not putting any they're not putting any paint apps onto it. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that if translucent plastic is cheaper, because again, it's kind of cool. I like it, but at the same time, you see all the joints and everything. You can't obviously hide the joints. It's kind of like seeing a McFarlane pin fucking figure. You spot it from a mile away. So, and Baldy says he might be going. So if you are, I'm already calling dibs on you picking one of these up for me. So, no, he did. I don't know, but I'm guessing no. I'm guessing it'll be just in a bag, stapled shut, and then in a year or two, they will put this one out again in a box, which I will rebuy. So, Toy Optic says, I already asked him before you. Whoa, we might just fire you before then, though. Anyway, here you go. Separate head for him. I don't think, again, if you know these guys, I don't think it'd be too difficult to make sure that you can get one. They say like one per day, I believe. But if they know who you are, and it's for certain people, I'm sure they would take it. Or you could just probably hound them over and over and over till they give it to you, so you can get it first up for your review and then whine and cry that it didn't do that well. But anyway, I don't know when they're going to start selling me the gargoyles in the back. That would be pretty cool. As they have some pretty cool displays here. So anyway, if you're going to ZoloCon or know someone that is, you might have a chance to be able to pick this up. Troy Bleaford says, I'll buy one. I'm sure. I'm not a fan of the baggy packaging, though. Again, I feel like if it's an exclusive and then you're going to redo it, then yeah, actually make it in a box. If you're saying, hey, these are the only way you're going to be able to get these translucent ones are at these shows, then great, do that for a year, right? But every single one of these companies say, hey, this is a con exclusive. And then they're right up on, they're right up on the up on their site like that week. And it's like, well, that's not really an exclusive then. So all right, Soldiers of Fortune. Now they're basically now showing you stuff that we already know is coming. So you can still get this one for $36.99. Again, this is where their price scale is all over the place because they didn't change their scale for stuff that's coming in yet. First quarter of 2026. So these should be here anytime. We will see lots of versions of these. Now, I saw some people mentioning like, oh my God, they have the shoulder pauldrons. They weren't in the original, solicitation. The one thing that I've noticed that with Fresh Monkey Fiction, Big Bad Workshop, they've thrown in some stuff. I don't say a lot of stuff. They've thrown in some stuff that you didn't see in the original solicitation. These things are already molded. They're already done. So it's not really a big deal to me. Not to mention, shoulder pauldrons on action figures usually suck. These ones are decent, but I think I might have them on one or two of the figures that have them. But for the most part, I pretty much slide them off. Same with like the steel core figures. I just get rid of them. But this is the red one, the close operative combat or competitive. They showed the yellow one today. Now, again, I don't know why. We've already seen all this stuff, but I think now they're just getting closer to production. They show you with the helmet. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this helmet because the helmet should have been more solid. Everything's really soft, so it's kind of hard to put it together. I don't want to say the other thing because Spec is in here, and Spec is like a fucking 12-year-old child if you say anything somewhat dirty. Okay, so they're showing this off, and I'm sure people are running to it. And I thought correctly. So this is a bonus figure only for the all-in backers. So their first set of figures that they decided to do this, there's 5 figures, and if you order all the figures, they give you like some heads, some bonus head sculpts and stuff, which I'm like, whip the fucking do, right? I have enough fucking heads from you guys. This one here, if you order the all-in, you get an extra figure. So technically, you are getting 6 figures for the price of 5, which actually does clearly help what the cost is. Ed says these are actual production figures in the new pictures, showing some extra bits. Yeah. So yeah, this is the one. No, I don't. So yeah, you can't go order this figure. Now, don't get me wrong. They'll probably do another version of him down the road and change something. But again, like, you're incentivizing me. Hey, if you order this whole wave all at once, you're going to get this figure. Don't just put it back out there. Leave something special, right? That's how it's supposed to be. Super Dabbin jumping in here saying boots with the fur. And again, if you don't think that this isn't meant to go with Pimp Daddy Destro, I don't know what you're thinking. Clearly, this is meant to go with Pimp Daddy Destro, which is one of the reasons why I kind of like him. I think he works pretty good. And, until we get an Iron Grenadier Destro, you can kind of have him as your Iron Grenadier leader. Not this guy, but that guy. Yeah, and Terry saying, what is going on with the leg? Yeah. Again, Pimp Daddy Destro. That's all I have to say. Pop Blender says, I think those furry boots are goofy. Curious choice. I'd prefer without. Again, and maybe that's where they keep it, where it's like, hey, you know what? And now these boots actually come with the Donner Party. And if you look at the Donner Party, he's an older style looking figure. So that's the reason why you're getting that. I do want to say hi to Bobby Wold. He just jumped in here saying, these are nice looking figures, but I'm still waiting on my order of the Crimson Moon Wave. Yeah, we all are. We all are. The Window Viper jumping in here saying it's the Donner Party repainted. Yeah, the boots are, yes. But you got to find something to use. And again, if you have Pimp Daddy Destro, and God knows G.I. Joe and Hasbro's probably not going to do anything to add it, why not do this? It matches the scheme. He can be that one bodyguard for Destro when he's Pimp Daddy Destro. I think it works, but you can't just go order this one. So if you really like this one, you can't just go order this one. And I really hope that if they do another version of it, he is different. Because again, make something special for the rest of us. And you start looking at all the gold and everything, and yes, it's meant, again, they don't really hide what they're doing. Like, yeah, they don't just come out and, and tell everyone, but they're not actually hiding it. They're not saying, "Oh, this is all completely original. We didn't inspire, we didn't take inspiration from anywhere." So then we have the Saboteur, $37.99, first quarter of 2026. Once again, like their prices, they were jumping all over the place. And again, this is where I think they need to shore up the stuff. I understand the prices went up, but your prices were already high. So they should have just kept them at $36.99, considering now all the molds are being made. So you're getting so much use out of those molds. The fact that you went up to $40, you are going to start pricing some people out. And I know there's already some people that have, backed away from it. But anyway, if you want a unique bad guy, oops, there you go right there. I don't even want a picture of the Saboteur. But again, this is going to be like an army builder. Who's army building at, $38? These are one of those ones, again, if you're buying one of each color, you're starting an army build. Same with like bats. All right. This pre-order goes up 1/30/2026. $40. This is the Gridiron Warfare, the Skull Crushers. My guess is these will be available on the Gridiron site, considering they are starting to sell some of the Big Bag Workshop stuff. I'm not sure why you would go ahead and order from Gridiron when you can just order from Big Bad Workshop, but my guess is you will be able to. So now Commander Gridiron will have his own set of troops that you can line up with him. I do think these look pretty damn good. These are looking pretty good. And there's something a little bit different. Now, I don't like what they're really doing, and I'll show you in a second. But again, we already know what the figure, like, we already know the type of figure that they are. We can see that it's the exact same plate carriers. So nothing new there. Just, giving you more stuff so you can customize. You got Gun Bunny Customs jumping in here. Great to see you here. I got to say, this, you can tell that this was a total Gridiron shot. How many times have we seen Gridiron pulling out the pistol? Like, if you go and look at their website, holding the rifle from the barrel, like with one hand. Whoever did this, this was done at Gridiron Studios. I'd be hard pressed to say that it's not done there. But these will be available soon. Well, pre-order will be available soon. Again, Big Bag Workshop is making sure that they reach out to so many people. They are trying to corner the market after G.I. Joe when it comes to 1/12 scale military style figures. And that's what they're going to be doing. You know what? I didn't even think about it, but you're absolutely right. It does have that wreckage look to it because of the skull face right there. Didn't even dawn on me. But you are absolutely correct, Adam. All right. So, 1 second. This is everything that you're going to get with them. A couple different heads. I'm sorry, 3 different heads. One with a gas mask. And then you have a secret head. And I don't like this. Each figure includes an extra blind bag skull crusher helmet. So this is telling you, there's four, you get a 4/12 chance, so one for every 12, three for every 12. I just, you already have a high price. You're already making it so, the exclusives that we got at Joe Fest or ZoloCon or anywhere else, you're going to be able to get. That don't make people chase things like this. I'm not a huge blind bag. Blind bags are great for things that are like $12, not stuff that are $40. And there's going to be completionists that are losing their fucking minds for it. So I'm not a huge fan of doing things this way. But hey, if you want to order 12 figures, and there will be people that will order 12 versions of this, or order 12 of these, not 12 versions, you'll be able to, probably get them all. But again, I think there's a better way to do it. And again, I'm 50 years old. I'm not chasing blind bags and shit. And Jim Smith jumping in and saying, yep, blind bag was when I stopped buying Valaverse. And again, it's not, it's nothing to do with, Valaverse. I think there's other reasons not to buy their stuff. But, again, this is something that my 60-year-old daughter likes. And, to watch her try and figure out what Stitch figure she's going to get, this is one of those ones where I wish they didn't do stuff like this. I understand they're trying to be fun. This isn't fun, especially if you're a completist. Even War Chest says, I agree chasing this shit is ridiculous. And then Brandon R says, I have no time for exclusives, random variants, blind bags, etc. It's nice that the other guys can get cool stuff. I want the cool stuff too. I have the money. Sell me the thing. Don't dick me around. Now I'm going to disagree with you on the exclusives, because I think the exclusives have always been there from when we were younger. Not everyone gets everything. That's how I feel. But again, I don't know. It's just a blind bag thing. Like, I want to be able to buy it. Like, let me see what I'm buying. I don't go to a fucking car dealership and be like, hey, surprise me with the fucking radio that's in it. Oh, hey, look at this. I got the big screen. No, I said I want the fucking big screen. He gave me the fucking big screen. Awesome. Anyway, just my opinion. It doesn't mean shit. It ain't going to change it because I said anything. All right. G.I. Joe, and this was right before we get on the topic. There's not much, but it looks like, if this is real, and God, please, I like this stuff. Pop Culture, they're doing a Hot Wheels Hiss. Now, just like, this thing right here, your Sky Striker, which, does have wings that open up. Had a base, but the base fell. We'll get that later. It'll be interesting. If they start doing more of these. Now, I think most people like the Jada Hiss, the Jada Stinger, the Jada Vamp. I wish they would have continued on with this. They like the little, the really small ones. Again, this is Hot Wheels, so I think these are going to be like $7. Yeah, this is a 1/12 scale Hiss. Yes. But yeah, I know I got the Sky Striker off of Amazon. I have actually finally seen it either at Target or Walmart. Some people are just finding loads of them. I think it usually happens around February 1st. So, but Woody says hopefully they'll have that on Amazon. If not, good luck finding it in stores. That's a scalper paradise. I have finally seen it in the store, the Sky Striker that is, but I ordered mine off Amazon. My Targets don't get these. I mean, they get them, but they don't get the G.I. Joe ones. I saw it after. Actually, I think I saw it at Walmart when the one that got the whole display and everything. No, and I've seen them too. But again, it's easier if it just shows up on Amazon. But anyway, this would be cool if they start doing stuff like this. You know, you get a hiss, obviously a vamp that usually leads into a stinger and a vamp Mark II, Snowcat, a rattler. I mean, come on, you gave him this, right? Why can't we get a rattler? But anyway, I'll be excited if they start doing stuff like this. This is this little branding that you need. This is where a dad sees this and he buys it for his son because he remembers this. And maybe this is what leads you into G.I. Joe. We all know they're missing all these. Like, they're missing out on so many little things. And this is one of them, is walking in there, seeing this pop culture. I mean, if they can sell out A-Team stuff and Starsky and Hutch, this was more popular to us as kids than that. So I'll be excited if we start seeing more of these. I hope we do. And I think most people agree too. And again, if you don't like it, well, Clint Jorgensen says they can do a flag too at appropriate scale. Tatsi says, I won't pay more than $125 for Hot Wheels. Then you won't be getting it. Then you won't be getting it. But this is also, these are, I think they're $6.99, $7.99, something like that. Gun Bunny, I'm with you, man. Like I have all three of them, and they're fun. They're a nice little scale. They don't take up much space. So if you have an office, a desk at work, and you want to put some of your G.I. Joe stuff there, a lot easier than putting a fucking, classified vamp up there or classified hiss. Costs a lot. Cost is better too. So anyway, that is it right there for all the G.I. Joe. But we do have a topic to get to, and I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that seems to be coming up for classified. But I am going to take a quick break as well. I've actually been drinking a good amount of water, and I've been talking a lot, and someone needs to go use the I don't have the case of Grumble Duffs, but you guys get this.
And now back to Cobra News Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have received word that our field correspondent, Scrap Iron, is on scene at Mars Industries, and he has interviewed a few eyewitnesses and forwarded those statements over to us as he tries to get closer for a better vantage point on the fire. So let's take a listen to these eyewitness statements and see if we can discover what has happened here tonight.
All right, so I'm out here just ripping this mini ramp that's made by Mars Industries. Don't ask, I don't understand why they sponsored it. But anyway, I hear this huge explosion, and I hear all these people yelling and screaming that this thing's on fire, and they tell me to call 911, so I call 911. We got the ESU police here, and we got the firefighters, and wait a minute, don't you work for Mars Industry and the Iron Grenadiers too?
Oh yeah, that's a wicked fire, eh? Good bonfire for burning the moose on. Kind of reminds me, it reminds me of the one that we did at Justin Bieber every year at Stratford Festival. Just as much smoke, big flame. We do that to keep Sasquatch away. What'd you do yours for, eh?
Yeah, how you doing? I was walking down the street, hanging out, minding my own business. About to sit down on the park bench here and just enjoy my meal here. I got a nice little delicious lunch made by my wife, my lovely wife. She's a great cook. Sometimes not the best, but listen. We all suffice, right? And I'm sitting here on the bench about to open up my lunch box after a long day of working with construction workers. If you haven't noticed, I got this hard hat on, right? And I'm sitting here chilling, and next thing you know, I smell burning. And I go, what is that? And then The explosion, the loud, boom! I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? What's going on? You sound like Aaron Judge cracked a home run. I'm freaking out. I look up, and Mars Industries is on fire. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? The building just blew up. It's on fire now. And no one can have any answers. Nobody has any answers. Next thing you know, the fire shows up. The cops show up. Nobody knows what's going on. But damn things for sure, that building blew up. Now listen, I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but I'll tell you this. The owner of that building, he wears a metal helmet. Who's wearing a metal helmet? Just to do business. Something don't smell right. You understand what I'm saying? That building, that was an inside job. You can quote me on that. Thank you for having me on the news. I've never been on the news before. This is fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And before we go, I want to shout out some people. My man Shane, my man Woody, my man Mike. I appreciate you all. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you. I'm on the freaking news right now. This is fantastic.
Well, that was certainly something. So let's see if we can check back in with Scrap Iron and see if he's been able to locate Destro or the Baroness, find out the cause of this fire. Over to you, Scrap Iron. Scrap Iron. Scrap, are you there? Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, and oh my God. Oh, I'm going to have to go over there now.
All right. So if you don't know what, that was Tuco Viper. That was done for the Punkathon. Thank you to Darren, 3-star, everyone else who helped out with that, like Krusty Old Crow and Tony, Legend Series. All right. So last week before I got sick, something was sent over to me about figures that were put into the system that were actually ordered by the distributor. We all have rumors, and so this was sent over and said, hey, these were put in by the distributor. So there are actual orders put in. Now, it's not the first time that orders were put in and then Hasbro went and changed things. They canceled it. Stuff got put on to be exclusives. So it's impossible to know. Now, I meant to talk about this last week. Obviously, I got sick. I did ask this person. I said, are you cool with me talking? He said, I'm perfectly fine with it. Don't say my name. That's perfectly fine. But it is through one of the distributors. And so first off, we're going to talk about some of the figures that we already know are coming. So quickly, we know we got Hydro Viper coming. They talked about this. Thank you to 3djoes.com here. I have a feeling that if I do this, then I hide the 3D Joe. I wasn't thinking about that. There we go. So anyways, thank you to 3D Joes. Again, if you want to find any of the stuff, you head over to 3djoes.com. You can see a lot of these pictures. Will R says Source Viper Island. Yeah, no. Again, I wouldn't believe anything that guy ever says. So we know we're getting Hydro Viper. I would assume, again, I know nothing about this. He'll probably have, a webbed hand and then probably a hand that you can swap out, which will be pretty good, to be honest. I have no idea. Again, I've been sitting on this for 2 weeks now. Seriously, I've had this for almost 2 weeks. And a lot of the stuff is stuff I've already heard. But, there's a few other things. So we know we're getting this guy from Cobra Law. We hear so much of the stuff, we actually start to forget. We actually start to forget some of the stuff that we were told. And when I was going through looking at some of them, I was like, oh shit, that's right. They actually gave us a digital render of this. So that was that was something very unique that I'm like, oh, I totally fucking forgot about this. Terrence Next Toy is jumping in here. What's up? It says Lawrence, pirates or ninjas? Man, I take ninjas probably before pirates. But there's something special about pirates. Pirate movies and stuff like that for sure. Oops. All right. So yeah, we know we're getting this guy, which will complete. Well, I guess it won't complete Cobra Law because I think I haven't heard anything about Globulus coming. But let's be honest, they're not giving you Pythona, the Royal Guard, Nemesis Immortal, and obviously you can create other creatures. You know, Once a Man, Cobra Commander, if they're not going to give us Globulus. But yeah, this is one of those. Again, I didn't really want Cobra Law, but everything they've done is pretty awesome. At least pirates are real, like Somalian pirates. All right. We know we're getting Iceberg. Please, and not that I don't think, give us more than just a rifle. All right. Iceberg has got to have more than a rifle. Even I can even remember as a kid thinking like, wow, they really shorted us on this. They give us a giant rifle and it's all white. Not a huge like, I like the character. The gun is very iconic, but just I don't know. Cooking with Eric jumping in and saying, I feel like they're going to give us everyone. I think they're going to give us a lot of figures. If they're already looking at 10 years down the road, I mean, they're looking at getting to 10 years, so 5 more years. You have to start making some figures. You got to start creating new characters, and you have to start. Creating new characters. You have to start reaching into renegades, and other forms. And also, if you start doing the 90s stuff, you got to start making some stuff that doesn't suck. Like, you got to make it better. All right, so we know we're getting Iceberg. We know we're getting the other 2 renegades. They already talked about it. And it's going to be a 2-pack. I forget how that was coming. If that was so I thought someone said a Target exclusive. That wouldn't make any sense. Or Amazon exclusive. I think this is just a fan channel exclusive. These other 2, Raw Dog. There it is. I have no idea. I only know Mercer because I have Mercer. This was some that I didn't have. Oh, you know what? That actually makes sense. Iceberg has come with Snow Serpent's snowboard. That actually makes sense. I hate that snowboard because it's goofy footed, and you know how I feel about that. But anyway, we know we're getting these. Again, these are some other characters. Destro's the spoiler. I told you I mentioned this numerous times. I actually saw I believe they're called the inserts of it. So like, kind of like with the digital renders that you see. This is something that obviously there's been lots of talk of it. And I mean, I mentioned it before. I actually ordered one off eBay. So this is the first one I've ever had. I've always loved this, and I don't know why I never bought it. I know I was after my time, but this is one of those things I would have thought I would have ordered off eBay. I finally did. But yeah, Destro and the Despoiler. It is, a vehicle figure pack. He does have the sword that goes through the shield that shows the crest. It might not. Hopefully, it doesn't get costed out. But he has a yelling head and then a regular head. Again, I will say it again. Screaming heads. If you do a screaming head, that's fine. But it should never be the only head sculpt that comes with a figure. No one wants to be screaming all the time. Again, I can already imagine, Crazy Legs when I get it, that he's just screaming all the time. No one really cares. So, but anyway, I have seen what this is supposed to look like. Again, he comes with a sword, the shield, different heads. It does have a soft goods for the small cape that goes on the side. And I only saw it for it was just shown to me, so I don't have it. So it's not like I can go and study it. And then the spoiler was shown to me too, and they pointed out a few things that are different. And like I said, I never had a spoiler, so I couldn't, say, oh yeah, you're right. I can see it looked like the despoiler. So I think this is like the perfect thing. This to me is, the Serpentor and the Air Chariot. They go good together. It shouldn't be too expensive. Again, but I think we're looking at a new price point, probably looking at like $65 price point, where the smaller vehicles were, $55. You're probably going to be looking at $65 now. Should it be retail? Yeah, I could see that, or it's going to be a fan channel. I think this is this would be a perfect stepping off point to say, hey, here's the vehicle for, Walmart, Target. You guys can all have it, but you can also get it on Amazon and BBTS and obviously Pulse. So, and I wouldn't be surprised at 75 either, Darren. But again, it all depends on how big it is. When you look at the size of what the Ferret was, again, I'm guessing you're using about the same amount of plastic. So that's just kind of where I'm coming for that. So, but yeah, you're going to be at least 65, because 55 was the price point for, the Ferret and everything. So this is coming. And again, you're going heavy with the Iron Grenadiers. Again, even if I didn't see the picture, like, this is not a big shock. Like, we haven't had a Destro since that really crappy, Walmart one. And every Destro, there's been 3 different Destros. One's Pimp Daddy Destro. It is a great figure, but it's been since Wave 1. It's the same figure. It needs to be updated. And again, when you've gone this heavy with the Iron Grenadiers, it only makes sense. All right. This is the second time that I've been told this, but this is where, again, the person said, and this is not the first time I've heard this, is that somehow there is a crossover with Lara Croft. Now, it doesn't make any sense to me. Again, things change, because I can tell you, I have also heard in the past couple years that Rocky and Rambo were both 2 figures that were going to be coming in the classified line. Obviously, neither one of them came. How Lara Croft from Tomb Raider fits anywhere into classified or Hasbro, I don't know. But it was one thing to be told this, and again, to know that they've done, there was talk with Rocky and Rambo, and Brandon, I'm with you. It doesn't make any sense, but from what I'm told is this was actually put into the system. Now, with that said, I know people that have also ordered. I believe it was Once a Man Cobra Commander, only for that to be an exclusive. So they do change things, and sometimes things get costed out. Things get changed completely. If you remember, Heart Wrencher was already supposed to come. Heart Wrencher was supposed to come out with Night Force Falcon. That was actually told to the Toy Kind of Mood guys, and then they changed it. I would have to say, if they did something like this, there has to be some sort of crossover. And not only that, but something where Hasbro is doing something with Tomb Raider. I don't know how this fits in, and I don't know why they would do it. But again, this is the second person, but this person actually said, hey, you know what? This has been ordered already. Like there have been orders put in for it. Again, this person could be completely lying to me, but I trust that they're not, or else I wouldn't be talking about this. But I'm not going to go like, again, I'm sure this will show up in places, but again, take it for what it's worth. All right. So this one here is Mistress Armada. She is an Iron Grenadier. Again, the second time that I've heard this. I was thinking that it was supposed to be Iron Grenadier Baroness, but the first person I talked to said, nah, I didn't say that. And when I mentioned this one, they just kind of like, yep. So this actually makes sense. I somewhat remember her when I was reading these comics. Again, you're going heavy with the Iron Grenadiers. It only makes sense to put a female out there and get that out there. I would say eventually, I don't know why you wouldn't do an Iron Grenadier Baroness unless you're going to say like she really had nothing to do with it, with the Iron Grenadiers. But again, we know that her and Destro are a couple. So take it for what it's worth. Again, this is something that I had to look it up quickly and go like, okay, wait a minute, who the hell is this figure again? Because I remembered it when I saw her, and I was like, oh, I remember. I think it was the IDW, because I did actually read all that stuff. I don't remember this shit, but I did read it, and I sold off most of the stuff in the past few years. 3-star says, I heard about Armada quite a while back. Not the only IDW character in the works either. Now, I haven't heard of it. I don't know of anything else, but it also makes sense. Remember, they did I can't think of the ninja. But yeah, they need to reach into that. And they're not the only ones that need to reach into that, because there's other, I think all the comics need to reach into some other stuff. So it's one of those things where let's start pulling into other lores of G.I. Joe, because we know there's a lot. Now there's some other characters that were brought up to me. So I was told that there was going to be two legacy figures, and the person that I talked to originally hadn't heard of any of them. And then this person here said this is what was put in for an order, and it was a legacy infantryman, which I would assume is somewhat another infantry style trooper, and a legacy snow rescue trooper. And is that a ski patrolman? Like, that's all I can think. Like, is this like a ski patrolman? Would they do a legacy like a ski patrol? They have all the stuff to do it, right? They already have the bucks. They have the skis. They have snowshoes. They have everything to do like a legacy like snow patrol. I don't think you do like a ski patrol at like a regular thing, but that could be something that I could definitely see them do. Yes, Kamakura. Thank you very much, Jamie Garcia. Kamakura, Mistress Armada. The comics' only characters they offer are the Devil's Due non-Larry Hama comics. No thanks. Well, again, see, so like, I gotta say this. So that attitude right there. And again, you're more than welcome to have it. That's the attitude that will kill the line. You have to reach into the lore from other iterations of G.I. Joe if we want to see this continue. If people just want the real American hero stuff, done over and over, then yeah, that's the line ends, and then again, maybe that's you're fine with that, and that's fine. Like again, I want them to grab everything. You know, I mentioned that before. I want to see them, but make good figures. I don't want to see, you know, I don't want to see shitty fucking, you know, neon figures that don't make any sense. So, but so again, I was told that there was that. I was also told that there's a new Cobra character and a new Joe character coming. Now, I was told about this a while back, and then if you watched the Adventures in Collecting, when they had, you know, Lenny, Tony, and the other guy on, Tony, if I remember, I think it was Tony, said something about creating new characters. So hearing that there's 2 new Joe and Cobra characters created, and a Real American Hero just introduced 2 brand new GI Joes, it's on the cover. It only makes sense. It's just saying that, hey, you know what? We need to start creating new characters. Many of us have been saying this for quite some time, and I know not everyone wants it, but we need to get new characters into the line. Again, not new iterations of characters, new complete characters. And you know, it's one of those things. So it makes sense. Like I said, it was mentioned to me. If you watch Adventures in Collecting, they mentioned something about new characters. And then to be set and then told that, hey, this has been put in. It makes sense. Now, when someone, you know, before anyone says, hey, you know what, this is, before anyone says, hey, you know what, this is all bullshit, you can't really believe anything that these people are telling you, I can tell you that this person also told me that there was a 3-pack that he had heard of that would be akin to the His Fire team. And then a few weeks later, we got that snow, the Arctic one with the steel core figure, and then the 2 Cobras. So he was right on with that. And again, this was a different person, not the person that gave me this list. But yeah, there's a few different things that if you start reading the tea leaves, you start watching a lot of these interviews, if someone's telling you something, you hear this a while back, and then you listen to what they're saying, a lot of it is meshing, and it makes sense. Jim Smith says Adventures in Collecting was when they mentioned Cold Slither was back up a failed licensing. That fail was Rambo. You know what? That could be. Because again, I heard about Rambo, and again, someone tells me this stuff, and I'm not, believe me, I hear a lot of shit. I don't run, again, you see, I don't do news bursts. I don't do the news burst. I don't run with something. You know, I've watched sports media way too long that they are so concerned with being first that people just are completely, they're just throwing shit out there, right? You can watch ESPN and you can see this. They just throw shit out there because, hey, we want to be first, and hopefully the stuff sticks. Again, the internet is an ink, so I'm just never going to be that person. I'm never going to be that person that just wants to throw things. I heard about Rocky quite some time ago, like 2 years ago. It never came. And it never. Well, I think about Rocky made sense because Rocky was initially supposed to be in there. What doesn't make sense is that Sylvester Stallone can't even get the rights to his own Rocky because somebody else owns it. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. The other character was a Rugged Duke. Now, it's been over a year since we've had a Duke, and they said, I don't know what Rugged Duke means. that was the order that was put in. But it makes me wonder if they would go with Renegades. There is talk, and I was told this quite some time ago, that there's a reason why they went with a Desert Snake Eyes, that there's going to be more desert figures coming. We had already had Dusty. We got that. We got Desert Snake Eyes. We never saw more desert figures come. This could be a change of course. Hey, you know what? We're gonna get to this later on. We already have one figure. Remember the Mad Marauder barbecue? He was just sitting out there all by himself. He had no team, and now they started to give him a team. So I wonder if Rugged Duke could maybe a code name for maybe a Desert Duke. Or again, is this something where they would go into the Renegades? That's what I would love to see. Yes, Desert Scorpion is, yeah. Now, Desert Scorpion, obviously, as you know, was already a main character. But yeah. No, I didn't find a flash drive. I did not find a flash drive. So these are some of the things that I was, that was passed on to me. But what I found very interesting was that these are things that were actually said to be put into the system, that there was orders actually placed for it. And then there's one other thing, and this, before anyone says you said they can't do this, what I said was they're not allowed to do it. It's not that they can't do it, but they are told that they are not allowed to do it at this point. And that is Hooded Cobra Commander. The person that reached out to me, and this is not the first time that I have heard about a Hooded Cobra Commander in the recent months, that it is a $72.99 price point, which means it's some sort of deluxe figure. If true, that seems like this would be a perfect time to give him a podium, a cameraman, or not a camera, but a camera. Understand this. Everything, I will stand by everything that I said about Hooded Cobra Commander, even if this comes true. It was the Bonaventure that said that he will not do Hooded Cobra Commander, and it was put in the uppers' heads. We can't do Hooded Cobra Commander. I have talked to people. I have talked to one specific person at Joe Fest that worked on the team that said, they said you cannot do this. They searched for a blue KKK member and they couldn't find it. And they said, just stop. You are not doing this. It's not that they are not allowed to. It's not that they were banned. It's that the people on the top said, you can't do this. Now, one of the things that was told to me by the same person who worked on the team, they said that if you look at, and I've told the story before, if you look at Flint's shotgun, where it has that weird break, they had come in, new people came in and said, hey, you know what? You can start using realistic guns. They were told no round tips, right? That's why every single gun was either a Nerf gun or some sort of laser rifle. And okay, so Day of Ruin is saying people in charge of things change. Yep. This could be why it's coming or not coming. Exactly. So if you look at Flint's gun, it has a round tip. They said they ran in there. They knew it wasn't like a real shotgun, but they were able to get this in there. And they said, we're never going to let them take this away. This is something we absolutely have to have. Brandon R says, Punk with Toys, then why does Hasbro's YouTube channel show episodes with Hooded Cobra Commander all the time? There's no warning, no restriction, nothing. Again, these are the... Okay, so there's a couple things here. First off, if you want to show the G.I. Joe cartoon, you have to show Hooded Cobra Commander. But when you have the people in the uppers that are making the toys, the toy division and the media division are completely different. It makes no sense. You've heard Lenny talk about it before that, hey, you know what? We've heard Lenny talk about it before. He's like, we can't speak on that. We have no say in that type of stuff. Why they are not working with Skybound to create fucking characters, I have no idea. This is why Hasbro's run the way that they fucking are. It is a huge different fucking issue. Okay, and again, I don't understand why this one is so difficult. Baron Zemo is Marvel. The Snowtroopers are Star Wars. They are the ones that dictate it. Hasbro dictated because of the Bonaventure, who flat out admitted this. Now, this story has been told not only by Bobby Valla, who was there at the time. It was also told by Mark Webber to me. And I think Tony was there and Travis. Backstage, first live stream I ever fucking did. He was there at the time. I will never do Hooded Cobra Commander. And it got put in the heads of the people above him. It is a different property. Just because it's made by Hasbro, it is a different property. I don't know why this is difficult for people to understand unless they're just trying to piss me off. So the whole Hooded Cobra Commander thing, this was told now. Now, this is what gets brought up to me. Remember Jada? They did those metal figures, and one was a Hooded Cobra Commander. And I mentioned this to the person I talked to at Joe Fest, and he said, I don't have any. He goes, I can't speak on that because I don't know, but that's exactly what happened. So what happened, in my belief, was that Jada, they did their 9-pack with Hooded Cobra Commander was in there, and it slipped through the cracks. So when they did the Jada Stinger, they changed it. They changed it to this Cobra Commander. Now this is a whole metal fucking figure. That means you'd have to just redo the whole mold. And he even said, yeah, they reached out to him. He goes, I can't prove this, but I know exactly how Hasbro works. They reached out and said, you need to change that. And that's exactly what they did. And Matthew says, Mark Webber has been on video saying this. Dale DePriest, yep. Kirk Bazicki and Bobby Valla. So many concurred evidence on Hooded Cobra Commander. Yeah, like, I want you guys to understand all the stuff that I've talked about Hooded Cobra Commander where I said they're not allowed to do it. This is not like insider information. This is stuff you go on YouTube, and these are people that have worked at Hasbro, and these are people that you know. Now, if it was just one person saying it, then you could say, yep. But as upper management changes, and maybe you get people that go, hey, listen, what the fuck do you know? You know, what the fuck do you know? Like, again, the Bonaventure, we've seen the movies you've made, so shut the fuck up. You really should have no say in anything G.I. Joe. But all it did was it put it in uppers' heads that, oh my God, people are going to think this is the KKK. And again, this person said, we scoured for 2 weeks. We can't find any, and they said, listen, you're not doing it. End of story. This person had no reason to lie to me. This person is someone you would know, but he never gave me permission to say it, so I'm not going to. And I wasn't the only person there that he told it to. There's actually other people in the chat that were there with me as we were talking about this. So it seems like if this is true, there's probably multiple reasons. First off, they've probably seen what, Big Bad Workshop is doing. They're creating a Hooded Cobra Commander. Well, a hood that looks like Hooded Cobra Commander. Why not do it? They probably talked to them numerous. They probably talked to the guys in charge Lenny, and I can't think of the guy that's in charge of the branding now. And probably asked him and said, okay, dude, is this real? Like, it exists in the cartoon. You cannot get it out of the cartoon. You can't take it out of your action figures. And if Hasbro looked at it, remember, Hasbro is the same people that took the police officer off, not telling anyone about it. Why? Because of the backlash. And if they deem that, hey, this is a bigger backlash for us, if this isn't worth it, then that's what they're going to do. BMAC, thank you very much. BMAC, thank you. That's where they deem it. I can tell you this. I can tell you when I've talked to Lenny in the past and I bring up Hooded Cobra Commander, even saying like, I just think it's BS that they don't even let you just address it. And he said, I have no comment. To the point, he won't even mention it. He won't even, and I'm talking about private discussions. And I can tell you this, I feel like the people that I've talked to, they know that if they say, hey, you can't say anything, I'm not going to say anything. Again, I've sent out a lot of information, like all that shit that happened with Viper Island and Destro Spirit Animal. I knew about that for over a month. I heard all that shit. I knew all about that. But I didn't say anything because I was told don't say anything. Hinder Collector 41 saying, what up, Toy Addicts? Yo, Joe. So Stiff Kittens, who I know I've seen in here today, but I haven't mentioned, look at the back of the Armored Coco box and close-up pic of the lizard looks exactly like a green KKK hood. There's I mentioned this when retrocarded Zartan came out, and I think it's on that retrocarded Zartan. But if you look, it looks like a hood in it might be on the like 50th anniversary, but it looks like a hood. So Ed says, hell, the one Crimson Moon figure has a marine hood and a robe. Hasbro is not losing out on that dollar. Yeah, and I think that's kind of where it might be coming, that people, you do have, this brand's been going for quite some time. This brand's been going for 5 years now. And we're not talking about G.I. Joe. We know how long G.I. Joe has been around. But, you can go to them and say, listen, new management, this is why we haven't been able to do it. Now, here's the other thing. And this could be stretching, because clearly if this is put in the system, and the fact that they gave it an MSRP, at least again, what I'm told, $72.99, makes it has to be a deluxe. But could it be the GIMP Cobra Commander? Now, I'm not reading this, so I have no idea. But could it be this version? Could it be something like this? There was just something as I was searching for pictures, and I thought about this, and I went, okay. But yeah, this is where, you start wondering about this stuff. Could they do something changing? Maybe this was a way to say, maybe if we can do this type of Hooded Cobra Commander, then they can give away. Again, I think a lot of it is just from the top down changes. There was no ban on it. This here, Slave One. So they can't use the term Slave One because that is what Disney / Lucasfilm tells them. Maybe that will change with new people at the top. Hopefully it does. Because Slave One is a really cool fucking name. Chaz the Guru jumping in here saying, I heard Hasbro is holding off on Hooded Cobra Commander because they are coming out with an official KKK line. Possibly. G.I. Jetman jumping in saying, hey, Punk in chat, sorry I didn't use your code at Top Fun Toys. I didn't know about it. I don't get nothing out of it. You guys get something. You guys get 10% off. So don't apologize to me. I don't get anything out of it. Yeah, or sexy Princess Leia. That's exactly right. Like that comes down from Lucasfilm. And again, to reiterate, the reason why you can get Baron Zemo, who is an actual Nazi, we understand that. And obviously, in my opinion, as awesome as the snowtroopers look, they look closer to being what the KKK wore, even though they don't have pointy hoods, than anything Cobra Commander had, considering it's an executioner. But it's not their property. They're just the makers of it, right? The Indiana Jones literally have Nazis that they were creating, right? So if Hasbro, whoever was in charge, deemed like, hey, the backlash is not worth, again, they omitted having police officers. They just showed up. I hate to break the news to everyone. Police officers exist. I see them every day. I drive all day. I see them every day. And I would say over 99% of them are good dudes. Just doing their job. This is how Hasbro thinks when it comes to this type of stuff. They did one, yes, but they're not allowed to do it now. Disney control, again, Lucasfilm and they control so much. And hopefully under new management, with Filoni and whoever else it is, hopefully they'll change how they do things. Because I think it's hurt the product more than anything. People have talked about before when it came to like Star Wars, like George Lucas fucking showed you all the fucking figures before you saw the movie, and that made you want to go see, oh shit, what is this figure about? Where Kathleen Kennedy was like, oh no, you can't see anything. God, that woman was horrible. Yeah, I said it. Kathleen Kennedy was awful. Awful for Star Wars. Don't try and justify anything she ever did, because there's so much video where you can watch her lie straight to George Lucas's face. And then you hear what she said about how, like, there's no history. He didn't give us this. And George is like, no, I gave that to them. I gave them episode 7, 8, 9 of how I thought it would go. And she said, no, it didn't. So all the people that want to say, hey, Kathleen Kennedy did a great job. No, she didn't. Toy After says Filoni is not an asshole. I didn't say that. I don't know if you're making a statement or you're saying that that's not what I said. I just said hopefully he doesn't do things like Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy, again, watch. I think it was Star Wars Theory, just basically fucking, I mean, they've all roasted her, but basically did a whole breakdown of like, remember when she said this? Remember when she said that? Remember when she said this? Oh, Mattson said it. Dave is an asshole and is not changing anything. Okay. I didn't read that spec, sorry. So anyway, that was some of the stuff that I heard. And again, take it for what it is. I did not see the listings. This is stuff that was sent to me. And the fact that I've heard this from numerous people, I've heard it from numerous people. All of this stuff I've heard from numerous people, with the exception of Rugged Duke. But again, another Duke. Is anyone to me is like surprised that there's another Duke? But again, if they're going to do desert, it kind of makes sense. Or again, I think that going the Renegades route would be a smart move. People love Renegades, and to do something a little bit different, shouldn't hurt them. But all this other stuff, like a new Joe and Cobra, new characters. We knew they were going to do Legacy. I think we were all expecting a doctor or a nurse. So if this is true, I am kind of surprised that it's not a nurse or a doctor, some sort of paramedic. but a snow trooper kind of makes sense, like a snow paramedic. But yeah, it's it is one of those. It's one of those interesting things. And again, I think my track record. You see, I don't do news bursts. I don't run out with new rumors, and sometimes you'll see me repost the digital renders that they drop. So this is just, I felt that there was enough stability to these rumors that were sent to me and other things that I had heard from multiple sources. Okay, so this is, again, I don't read Energon, so Rugged Duke will be Energon. So that would be really interesting and very smart, 610 Yo Joe Daddy. That would be something very smart. Jimmy Garcia says, all this is a reminder to me is all this is a reminder to me of why it sucks that corporations own the intellectual properties that I love. I mean, yes and no. If a corporation didn't own G.I. Joe, how many G.I. Joe figures are you getting? You can say what you want, but Hasbro, who didn't even expect this was supposed to be like a one and done. This was supposed to be like a year. They didn't think it would last this long. And we're 5 years and it's super strong and it's only growing. And yeah, you should read all of the energy. Again, I've mentioned why I don't I can't go into comic book stores. I know what happens. And I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I'm not dogging it at all. And more than likely, when the trade paperbacks come, I probably will pick up something like that. But yeah, it is something that I would like to read. So it's not like I'm against it. So I don't want anyone to think about that. But anyway. No, and again, we all have different opinions, and I'm not here to like shoot down someone's opinion or anything like that. It's just how I think about the stuff, and I think a lot of people think of this is what I used to tell my ex. Like, you look at everything we don't have rather than everything that we do have. Look at some of the smaller companies. They don't have the money, so they just keep on remaking the same army builder and the same mold. You look at G.I. Joe, man, we are in good shape. People that collect Marvel Legends, right? Oh, look at all the Wolverines and Deadpools. Yeah, well, look at the Omega Reds and the Venoms and other shit like that. Like, some things sucks, yes. Other things, pretty good. But I'm gonna get out of here because you know what? It is after midnight. I have to work in the morning. I don't know if Roman's been whimpering for me because I have the door closed, but I gave him his medicine late, so hopefully that kind of made him drowsy, so he didn't whine. And I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow, you know where you can find me. I think we have a show. I don't know. Spec, do we have a show tomorrow? I have no fucking clue. I just assume that about 6:35 over on Baldy Locks Reviews, I show up there. Baldy will ask us something like 2 hours ahead of time because I guess he thinks Tuesday changes every year, every week. I don't fucking know. I'm just there. That's all I have to say. So anyway, 6:35 ish tomorrow. Circle of Jerks. Then over on Pop Blender's channel, you can check out Pop Blender and my other moderator, Matthew Matson. They do their show at 10 p.m. Eastern, the Evening Blend. But I'm going to get out of here. Everyone have a wonderful night. Take care.